Alright, so anyway, hello everybody, welcome to this actually final installment of the Fiesta. We only have one thing to do, and it is to sit here for 2 hours and a half, waiting for Omega to die. I've already taken the preparations in order to get everything going. At this point, we have Time Mage here, who's going to be a rod breaker. He has Hermes sandals. And in fact, I probably should save because I'm not even sure if I saved my change of equipment. And I got a Time Mage here that's, not Time Mage, but White Mage with Time Magic so that they can cast Quick. But yeah, all the preparations are there. Let's actually just do it. Oh, okay, except if that happens. Like, that's... Unfortunately, you know, the part that, yeah. I probably should just restart. Seems as if even Hermes sandals cannot, you know, beat that thing in fastness. My god. Yeah, good thing I save. It's like, literally, I need blast. I need to either... Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, alright, Okay, poison rod. Poison rod is equipped. Okay, oh, that's right. Anybody in the world can just do that.
It looks like you just subscribed.
Okay, alright, there we go. Thank you, Doomcup, for the sub. Thank you very much. So, alright, we've done all that needed to be done. Omega is currently losing its HP very slowly, with absolutely no way to change what's going on. So, yeah, with that said, how are we going to actually end up passing time this year? Last time I did some Jackbox, but, yeah. Yeah, it's still the first run. We're about to finish it. Omega is the last thing standing. But now it is time to actually do something else. As I said, I thought about doing something else this year. So, yeah, what are we gonna do? This year we're going to just do another... Yeah, we're Quickleaking. That's what we're currently doing. Omega is dying right now, so, yep. Instead, I thought, since we're currently playing an RPG right now, we're going to play another RPG while we're waiting. So therefore, we're going to play something that I ended up playing all the way back in book format and everything. Yep, we're going to play Lone Wolf. That's a book series that I ended up playing as a kid, and... yeah, we might as well play it while we're waiting, because, why not? I felt like revisiting it, and, So, yeah. Essentially, it's a book series. There ended up being 28 of these, all spread out over 4 different cycles and everything. And, yeah, we're going to play one of these while we're waiting. So, yeah, we might as well just read along. It's a very little blurb of introduction. We're also gonna read, like, the intro proper, and also, hi, this is my mouse cursor. Sadly, I don't know how I can remove it. So, yeah, you are Lone Wolf. In a devastating attack, the Dark Lords have destroyed the monastery where you were learning the skills of the Kai Lords. You are the sole survivor. In flight from the dark, you swear revenge. But first you must reach Olmgard to warn the king of the gathering evil. Relentlessly the servants of darkness haunt you across your country, and every turn of the page present a new challenge. Choose your skills and your weapon carefully, for they can help you succeed in the most fantastic and terrifying journey of your life. But yeah, let's go with the actual intro first, and then we're going to actually build our character. In the northern land of Summerland, it has been the custom for many centuries to send the children of the warrior lords to the monastery of Kai. There they are taught the skills and disciplines of their noble father. The Kai monks are masters of their heart, and the children in their charge love and respect them in spite of the hardships of their training. But one day, when they finally have learned the secret skills of the Kai, they will return to their home equipped in mind and body to defend themselves against the constant threat of war from the Dark Lords of the West. In olden times, during the Age of the Black Moon, the Dark Lords waged war on Summerland. The conflict was a long and bitter trial of strength that ended in victory for the Sumlending at the Great Battle of Macken Gorge. King Ulnar and the allies of Duranor broke the Darkland armies at the pass of Moitura and forced them back in the bottomless abyss of Macken Gorge. Vashna, mightiest of the Dark Lords, was slain upon the sword of King Ulnar, called... Hold on. I gotta do it proper justice.
Summer Sword!
The Sword of the Sun. Since that age, the Dark Lords have vowed vengeance upon Summerland and the House of Ulnar. Now it is in the morning of the Feast of Femarn, where all of the Kai Lords are present at the monastery for the celebration. Suddenly, a great black cloud comes from out of the western skies. So many are the numbers of the black-winged beasts that fill the sky that the sun is completely hidden. The Dark Lords, ancient enemy of the Sumlending, are attacking. War has begun. On this fateful morning, you, Silent Wolf, the name given to you by the Kai, have been sent to collect firewood in the forest as a punishment for your inattention in class. As you are preparing a return, you see to your horror a vast cloud of black leathery creatures swoop down and engulf the monastery. Dropping the wood, you race to the battle that have already begun. But in the unnatural dark, you stumble and strike your head on a low tree branch. As you lose consciousness, the last thing that you see in the poor light is the walls of the monastery crashing to the ground. Many hours pass before you awake. With tears in your eyes, you now survey the scene of destruction. Raising your face to the clear sky, you swear vengeance on the Dark Lords for the massacre of the Kai warriors, and with a sudden flash of realization, you know what you must do. You must set off on a perilous journey to the capital city to warn the king of the terrible threat that now faces his people. For you are now the last of the Kai. You are now the Lone Wolf. Also, what's those numbers? This is the random number table. All of the books came with that as an alternative to you having to buy a dice 10 and everything, so you could just do it with your book. Gratulary.
You wanna role play while we wait? I can DM.
Alright, thank you very much for the donation. Alright, so now the new DM master is going to be Omega. So now we get to build the character, everyone. So how are we actually going to do this? Okay, alright, but that said, how do you start the thing again? Just like, okay, yeah, it's game rules. So yeah, first of all, yeah, during your training as a Kai Lord, you've developed fighting prowess, which is combat skill, and physical stamina, endurance. Before you set off on your adventure, you need to measure how effective your training has been. To do this, take a pencil and with your eyes closed, point with the blunt end of it on the random number table. With that said, we've got a robotized random number table, so we can just do it this way instead. So, yep. Let me just reach over there. Also, hi, other mouse cursor. Boy, it's great to have my mouse cursor show up on everything. So, first of all, we need to... Thank you, Techno Wolf SDP for the sub. Thank you very much. Yep, I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah, groovy.
I'm a lone wolf. A wolf.
Okay, so now the first number that we pick is going to be our skill level. Alright? Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you very much. Alright, 6. So that means 6 plus 10 equal, our character will have 16 points of ability or combat skill because, hey, hidden, oh, okay, that font is le sorti. Oh. At this point, can people even see this just fine? I'm just not sure. Just want to make absolutely sure. Okay, I guess it's seeable. And now, how much endurance do we have? How well are we at just taking abuse? We had 20 to that score. 21. All right, we're made out of paper. Perfect. I mean, I've seen worse. We're literally just going to find another way in order to get everything to run. So here's the hallmark of our character. With that said, hold on a second. I just need to once again make this a little bigger. And I need to make sure that the Omega is actually leaking. Do not take this in the wrong way, everyone, because yeah, that's definitely good. Okay, everything is good so far. Okay, so now we've got that going. Now it's time to actually pick disciplines, because that's one of the things that we're supposed to be good at. We've mastered the skill of the warrior. So far, we have only learned 5 of these. Hi, Worm. How you doing? Thank you for the raid. We're being a fucking nerd right now. We're playing game books while Omega is currently being leaked to death. So alright, I'm gonna survey you over the 10 skills that are available, and I will entrust you with the choice of 5 of them. So first of all, we have Camouflage, that gives us the ability to blend in our surroundings. Thank you, Amigo, for the donation. Thank you very much. But yeah, in the countryside, you can hide undetected among trees and rock and pass close to an enemy without being seen. It allows you to look and sound like a native of that area and can help you find shelter or a safe hiding space. Hunting. This allows us to never starve in the wild because this is a mechanic in the series of books. We have to eat regularly, otherwise we lose endurance points. So, yep, essentially this is all about that, but it also allows us to move stealthily while stalking our prey. Sixth Sense, it allows us to be warned of imminent danger and find the true purposes of strange objects or strange people. Tracking allows us to make the correct choice of a path in the wild, to discover the location of a person or object, and to read the secret of footprints or tracks. There's actually been a video game version of this. I'm not too sure if it was good or not. I've never played it, but I know it exists. After that, we have healing. That's the way that it works is that every paragraph that we go through without any fighting, we get 1 point of endurance back. And yeah, that's about all that it does. Thank you, Mefovich. Thank you very much.
Congratulations!
There's weapon skill that allows us to have 2 extra points to our combat skills. If we use the weapon that we're good at, but unfortunately the weapon that we're good at is completely random. Thank you, StuckWE2 for the sub, thank you very much. But yeah, and by the way, we cannot carry more than 2 weapons, as the action sheet itself is kind of warning us about in some way. Mind Shield. The Dark Lords and many of the evil creatures and their commands have the ability to attack you using their Mind Force. The Kai discipline of Mind Shield prevents you from losing any endurance points when subjected to this form of attack. Mind Blast is, yeah, kind of the opposite. It allows us to attack enemies using the force of our mind. We can use it at the same time than our regular weapons. Thank you, Empuli. Thank you very much for the sub. Thank you very much. But yeah, we can use this during combat, and if the enemy is not invulnerable to it, it gives us 2 extra combat skill points.
I'm subbing for RP Atmosphere.
Animal Kinship allows us to communicate with animals and be able to guess the intentions of others. And Mind Over Matter, it allows us to move small objects with the power of your mind. Ooh. And yeah, essentially there's 10 skills. We can only pick 5 of them, and if we finish this book, we can have 6 skill for the next one. So yep, at this point, it's now up to you. Which of these feel like these are abilities that will actually help us out? At this point, I'm just gonna pick as skills the first 5 that I'm going to read in the chat. Or maybe I'm just going to pick them myself. Who knows? Because I know there's like at least a couple that I'll want for sure. Oh, alright, there we go. Tracking, animal empathy, healing. Alright, so far so good. Mind over matter. Alright. Hold on a second at this point. I wish there was a way for Twitch things to just, you know, be over everything. Alright, so far we got 4 skills picked up. Everybody that definitely wants to have tracking, we're definitely missing 1 skill so far. At this point, I'm just gonna add everything that we've seen so far with tracking. Healing. Whoops. Act. Okay, how do you want to do? Okay, there we go. Animal kinship. Mind over matter. Oh, and weapon mastery. Alright, we're doing this. Okay, perfect. Okay, weapon mastery. But we have to determine what we're good at. So, alright, it's time to go back to our good old random number table in order to learn the one weapon that we're really, really good at. Okay, 4 Warhammer. So, alright, we've got a proficiency in Warhammering. So, yep, we're gonna have to write this down. Mastery Warhammer. Okay. A little too big. Alright. There we go, the biggest skill. Right, we're just going to align this a little better so that it doesn't look like a pile of awful garbage. Okay, so that's our character. So let us see what else that we got. Oh yeah, that's right. We need to... oh yeah, equipment. That's right. We do start with... we do need to have some stuff. So. Alright, you're dressed in the green tunic and cloak of a Kai initiate. You have little with you to harm yourself for survival. All that we got is an axe. And we got a backpack with 1 meal. We're just going to note that here, and the item over here. Hanging from your waist is a leather pouch containing gold crowns. To find out how many, random number table. Okay, let us see how much. Oops. Yeah, let us see how much we are good at. Okay, we're poor as fuck. We got 0. No money. All right. All right, we're off to a good start. I don't know why this is making me so amused, but it totally... I totally like the idea of us going... to the adventure of a lifetime, and we have no fucking money. Alright, we got 0 crowns. But we're not done with the table. We gotta also check out. We get one of the following. Okay, what is 0? We have a broadsword. Okay, we start out with 2 weapons. Sadly, no Warhammer, it seems. Oh well, we'll manage. Alright, broadsword. Yeah, nobody wants to hire No, they're not supposed to be mendient. It's just like, no, we're just deeply unfortunate. So, yeah, essentially what weapons do for you, well, they hate us in combat. If at one point we're stuck without any weapons in combat, we're gonna have to drop our combat skill by 4, which is kind of a big penalty. So, hopefully, we're definitely gonna have a whole lot of... Okay, food. Essentially, you will need to eat regularly during your adventure. If you do not have any food when you're instructed to eat, you lose 3 endurance points. But if we have chosen hunting, then we do not need to take off a meal. Oh my god, I can't freaking speak. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, your mission will be one of great danger, for the Dark Lords and their servants are cruel and...
What a scene, man.
Yeah, I cast magic missile. Thank you, XZ, for the donation. For the Dark Lords and their servant are a cruel and fierce enemy who give and expect no mercy. Use the map to help you steer a correct course through the capital. Make note as you progress through the story, for they will be of great help in future adventure. Yeah, that's right. Probably should check out the map. Ah, whoops. Sadly, we don't get to see the map in its fullest. I'm sorry, everyone. So, yeah, at this point... Yeah, the Kai Monastery is essentially over there. Our goal is the town over there. I'm not really sure we're gonna need, like, the map that much into this book, but some other of the books, it might help to know where we're going. Yeah, many things you will find will aid you during the adventure. Some special items will be of use in future Lone Wolf adventures, and other may be red herring with no real use at all, so be selective in what you keep. There are many routes to the king, but only one involve a minimum of danger. With a wise choice of Kai discipline and a great deal of courage, any player should be able to complete the mission, no matter how weak their initial combat skill and endurance point score. The honor and memory of the Kai Lord will go on with you in your perilous journey. Good luck. And there we go, we begin. You must make haste, for you sense it is not safe to linger by the smoking remains of the ruined monastery. The black-winged beast could return at any moment. You must set out for the Sumlending capital of Almgard and tell the king the terrible news of the massacre, that the whole elite of Kai warriors, save yourself, have been slaughtered. Without the Kai Lord to lead their armies, Summerlund will be at the mercy of their ancient enemies, the Dark Lord. Fighting back tears, you bid farewell to your dead kinsmen. Silently, you promise that their deaths will be avenged. You turn away from the ruin and carefully descend the steep track. At the foot of the hill, the path splits into 2 directions, both leading into a large wood. We do not have 6th sense, so we're not doing that. So, do we take the right path in the wood or the left? Like, at this point, whatever option I see first, I will pick. So, yep, you might just, lead our character to death without trying to do so. Alright, right. Let's go right. The path is wide and leads straight to thick underground. The trees are tall here and unusually quiet. You walk for over a mile when suddenly you hear the beating of large wings directly above you. Looking up, you are shocked to see the sinister black outline of a Kran diving to attack you. Alright, do we draw our weapon and prepare to fight, or do we flee by running south deeper in the forest? Alright, I already see fight, so let's go, let's do it. The Kran hovers above you, raising dust with the beat of its huge black wings. The dust gets into your eyes and nose, and you start to cough. Now the beast attack. You must fight it to the death. Because of the dust, you must reduce your combat skill by 1 point. So, alright, 16 combat skill and 25 endurance. Now's the time to actually switch scenes, because that's what we need to be done whenever we fight. Essentially, there's a combat table that also tells us, like, how damage and everything is supposed to be doing, and also we can totally see the continuation of how Omega is doing. We're going to see him every time we're gonna fight a combat on anything, so yeah, Omega is not completely forgotten. No worries. So, alright, we have 16 combat skill, and we're losing 1 point of ability. So our combat ratio for this is gonna be -1. Shran has 25 HP. We have 21. So there we. Ah, my goodness. At this point, I feel like. Nah, there's absolutely no penalty. The problem is that if we were proficient in the weapon we'd use, we'd get 2 extra ability points or combat skill. So, alright, now our combat thing is -1, which means that if you look over there, whenever we draw numbers, it's going to tell us exactly what's gonna happen whenever we draw a number. How much HP each target will take, so... Yep, it's time to fight. Let's draw some numbers. Let's fight with mathematics. So, we draw a tree. If we look at the table, that means we deal 4 damage to our enemy, and it also deals 4 damage to us. So, alright, 17 and 21. And at this point, it's a fight to the death. We must keep drawing numbers until that we actually succeed or die. 4, which means we deal 5 damage to the enemy, and it deals 4 to us. So, okay, we're down to 13, down to 16. Oh, fuck. We got a 1. So, we deal 2 damage to the enemy, and it deals 5 to us. We're not off to a good start, everyone. Right, come on. It's time to draw some good number. Oh, 0! There we go. 0's the best number we can draw in 5. We deal 11 damage to the monster. It deals none to us. So, okay, down to 3. It's down to the wire. Whoops, with that said, yeah. I should have trained myself to become, oh, 1. Oh my god. Are we gonna die in the very first encounter somehow? Like, if it happens, we might have to generate a new lone wolf. So, okay, 2 more damage to the enemy and 5 to us. So, okay, we have 3 HP left, everyone. No pressure. Right, no whammy, no whammy. Oh, fuck. Alright. Hold on a second.
Double kill!
Yep, unfortunately, Lone Wolf got killed on his way to the king. The end. So, alright, do we actually draw new stats to our character? So, yep. At this point, I say, yeah, let's try again. Let's draw new numbers. Hopefully, we've got No! This is not happening. We're not doing this. Not with 11 and ability points. We had 16 and we lost the first encounter somehow. Again? No! This fucking table is a sham. What the fuck? Okay, alright, 17. That's good, okay. At this point, I feel like we need a boost. Alright, we might as well just clear all of this. Hopefully, we'll also have somebody who's also a little sturdier onto their feet. So, okay. Whoops, nope. Wrong thing. Alright, let's see if we can get better endurance this time. Alright, 1 extra point. Okay, 22. This is the Lone Wolf that's totally going far the distance. So, alright, at this point, we're gonna restart. Let's go back to 1. I'll give you the opportunity to hopefully take better decisions. So, alright. Yep. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
One 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 one
My God, I'm head banging right now. Wait, hold on, I didn't even bring my water. We're playing game books, baby. That's what we're doing. All right, there we go. So, all right, time to bring the other scene back. So, okay, do we go into the right or do we go left? Or do people want to invest in new disciplines? All right, left path. Oh, all right. You have followed this twisting track for about 20 minutes when you hear the beating of wings high above the trees. Looking up, you see a large crane approaching from the north, its huge black wings casting a gigantic shadow on the trees below. On its back are two creatures armed with long spears. They are mountain gyaks, small, ugly creatures full of hatred and malice. Many centuries ago, their ancestors were used by the Dark Lords to build the infernal city of El-Jadad, which lies in the volcanic wasteland beyond the Durncrag mountain range. The construction of the city was long and torturous, and only the strongest of the creatures survived the heat and poisonous atmosphere of El-Jadad. Quickly you dive for the shelter of a large fern tree as the crane passes overhead. With heart pounding, you pray that your quick reactions have saved you from being spotted. Alright, pick a number. Alright. Alright, we got an 8. Let's go to 74. Uh-oh. The crane and its riders land on the track barely 10 feet from where you are hidden. The Gyaks leap from the scaly backs of the crane and move toward you, their spears raised to strike. You have been seen. Alright, do we fight them or run deeper in the forest without delay? Alright, fight. Alright, you prepare your weapon and advance to meet the enemies. There are 2 mountain Gyaks and you must fight them one at a time. At least see things on the bright side. We're having a much easier time this time. So yeah, our combat ratio for this one is 4 and here it's 5. Okay, let's go over there. So now it's time to fight. We're gonna have a little bit more of an edge this fight because hey, our combat ratio is not in the gutter. So alright, let's go. Okay, 8. So 8, we deal 12 damage and they deal none. So alright, we actually instant win. Whoops. Okay, I didn't do my homework, it seems. Okay, so now 22. Now our combat ratio is 5. In order to kill the other one, that actually makes us even better. So let's go. 9! Alright! Where were these rolls earlier? So we deal 18 damage to the enemy, and we suffer no damage whatsoever. Boom! We just slice their heads open in one fell sweep. No problem. Yep. Yep, we grinded and we did well, it seems. Whoops, hold on. I must not minimize this window. Alright, hopefully you finally manage to beat Archaeawavis soon. This thing is not gonna know what hit it. Alright, the 2 Gyaks lie at your feet, their bodies twisted and lifeless. A quick search reveals 6 gold crowns! Yay, we got money! Got 2 spears and a dagger, so do you want to get a dagger and a spear, or do we just let them go? Remember, we cannot carry any more weapons, so it's kind of a loss. The crane flew off during your battle, and the track is now deserted. You adjust your backpack and continue your mission. I mean, yeah, there already was a remake of Chex Quiz that came out lately. Alright. Yeah, sadly we can't melt anything down. Alright, keeping a watchful eye on the sky above, you move quickly along the track. You recall that this route leads to Fogwood, a small cluster of huts that have been used by a family of charcoal burners for nearly 50 years. After 20 minutes, you reach the edge of a clearing where the huts are grouped in a small circle. There is no sign of the usual mist of wood smoke, which gives Fogwood its apt name, and the huts are unusually quiet. Yeah, what to do about the mass attack that do a shitload of damage? Yeah, grind. Get yourself some elixirs at the Wind Shrine. So, alright, if you have the Kai discipline of tracking, yep, we got it! Okay, using your skills, you detect Gek tracks among the perimeter of the clearing. The prints are fresh, and you can tell that these cruel minions of the Dark Lord were in this area less than 2 hours ago. Forewarned by this knowledge, if you decide to investigate the huts, go to 305, or would you rather avoid the clearing? Alright, do we go or do we don't? Yeah, the enemies that drop elixirs are the mold winds. Alright, let's go. Through the open doorway of the first hut, you can see the body of a charcoal burner lying face down on the rough stone floor. He has been murdered, stabbed in the back by a spear. All his furniture and belongings have been smashed and broken, and not one piece remains intact. This is the evil handiwork of Gex without any doubt, for they delight in the destruction of all things. Also, that's really deep characterization here. A quick check of the other huts reveal a similar story of murder and wreckage. In the last hut that you search, you discover a Gex spear, proof of your suspicions. You may keep this weapon if you wish. More determined than ever now to succeed in your mission, you continue along the track. In the distance, perched on the branch of an old oak tree is a jet black raven. We have animal kinship, so we may call this bird. The head of the bird slowly turns and it curses you. An instant later, it flies off above the trees and has soon disappeared. Shocked by what you have heard, you are now sure that the fledgling was a scout of the Dark Lord, and is now probably on its way to inform them of your whereabouts. Do we wish to continue our journey along the track, or do we leave the track and go through the forest instead? Alright, follow the track or ditch the track. So far, we've got one of each. At this point, I'll let a third party decide of our fate. Die! Okay, forest! I mean, we already did that earlier. Okay, for half an hour or more, you press on through the forest, through the rich vegetation and ferns. You happen upon a small, clear stream where you stop for a few minutes to wash your face and drink of the cold, fresh water. Feeling revitalized, you cross the stream and press on. You soon notice the smell of wood smoke, which seems to be drifting toward you from the north. Do we investigate the smell of wood smoke, or would we rather avoid it? It's time to choose. Alright, investigate. Let's go. Carefully parting the dense foliage, you are horrified by the sight that meets you. In a small clearing ahead, 3 Gyaks have tied a man to a wooden stake and are setting fire to a massive brushwood bundle at his feet. You recognize his tunic as that of a border ranger, one of the king's men who police the kingdom near the Dern Crag Mountains of the west. He has been badly beaten and is nearly unconscious. Alright, do we have one thing? No, we don't. So we must attack the Gyaks now to save the ranger's life. Okay. You rush into the clearing and take the Gyaks completely by surprise. Oh no, I was not showing the pages. Oh, you freaking moron, jeez. No, sorry, we had absolutely no option to say no. We had to actually go there. Just in order to showcase. Yep. Do we have one thing? If not, nope, you gotta save him. Yeah, at this point, I'm sorry everyone. At this point, I still have to sort this out. But at this point, is there a way in order to make OBS always on top or something? Yep, but thou must. Okay. Rush into the clearing and take the Gex completely by surprise. Without a moment's hesitation, you strike out at the one nearest to you. He's dead before his body hits the ground. The other Gex unsheath their curved swords and attack you. You must fight them one at a time. Alright, it's the same rigmarole. 14 combat skill. Oh, okay, this one's actually more talented. And the other one is not. So, okay. Let's go. We have a combat ranking of 3. So, it is time to actually go and check out how this combat scenario unfolds. Do we finally have good rolls? I guess not. So, alright, let's check out what 1 means in our scenario. At this point, I probably should just, delete everything that I don't particularly use. So, alright. We got 3 and 1. So, okay. We deal 5 damage and we get dealt 4 damage. There we go. Round 2. Fight. 2. Alright. We're back to the good old crap rolls. 6 damage to the enemy and 3 damage to us. Alright. So, take a little bit of damage, but that one Gek bites the dust. Now it's on to the second opponent with a better combat ratio, which does nothing different. Okay, 7. What does 7 do for us? 11 damage, and we only take 1. Okay, alright. We insta-kill the monster, and we only get a tiny little scratch. At this point, I'm just gonna do that so I do remember, what's our current endurance scenario and everything. So, alright. If you win, you free the ranger, and you also don't forget to change your scene, because that's kinda bad. The man is badly injured and near to death. If you have the Kai discipline of healing, you may ease the pain of his wound, but he has been so seriously hurt he's beyond repair by your skills alone. He soon lapses into unconsciousness. Try to make him as comfortable as possible beneath a large forest oak before leaving and pressing on through the thick woodland toward the northeast. And yeah, before we forget... whoop, get a point back. Oh. Fatigued by your exertion, you stop to rest for a few minutes by a fallen tree. You notice a large bundle beneath the trunk. Alright, do we examine the contents or do we just continue our mission as is? Alright, always loot. Alright, wrapped in a bundle of women's clothing is a small velvet purse containing 6 gold crown and a tablet of perfume soap. Alright, we may take these items. I know we'll take the money, but do you also want to have soap? I mean, right now we're not carrying anything. So yeah, why not? Perfume soap, here we go. Now we may wash our sins away. You've been trudging through the forest for nearly 2 hours. The nagging fear that you are lost begins to seem a reality. Apart from the occasional cry of a Kron in the far distance, you have seen or heard no evidence that the enemy is in this part of the forest. As you descend a rocky hillock, you see something unusual in the tangled wood ahead. Surrounded by thorny briars and closely packed roots, you see the entrance of a tunnel disappearing into the hillside beyond. It is approximately 7 feet in height and just over 10 feet wide. As you get closer, you can feel a slight breeze coming from the inky blackness. If the other end of this tunnel emerges on the far side of the hill, it could save you many hours of difficult climbing. But it could also harbor unknown danger. There's totally fiesta happening, just trust me. The fiesta is going on over there. So, do we enter the tunnel or do we climb the hillside? That is... Alright, let's go to tunnel. Okay, the tunnel is dark and the air is much cooler than outside. You carefully advance with one hand on the tunnel wall to aid your sense of direction. You have been in total darkness for 3 minutes when you detect the foul smell of decay ahead, similar to rotting meat. If you have a torch and tinderbox in your pack, you may light the torch to see your way ahead. Suddenly, something heavy drops from the tunnel ceiling in your back, and you fall to your knees. It is a burrow crawler, and you must fight it, for it is trying to strangle you with its long, slimy tentacle. Oh boy, alright. But yeah, probably should remember as well to get to put back the endurance point. Oh yeah, that's right. I think I forgot to put in one. Alright, burrow crawler, 17 skill point and 7 endurance. Oh boy, alright. This could be fun. Okay, at least the monster only has 7 points, but we lose 3 points from our combat skill because we don't have a torch. So, -3. At this point, I'm starting to think we might be in a similar situation than before. Yeah. Alright, it's time to fight. Okay, 7. The enemy takes 7 damage and we take 2 damage. Alright, that was easy. Alright.
What a scene, man. Woo-wee.
Thank you very much for the donation. Thank you very much. Nah, he's doing all fine now. He had a rough beginning, but he's finally starting to turn around. Oh yeah, also, by the way, here's the monster in all of its glory. Okay, and let's further head stuff. Like at this point, boy, I need to upgrade the setting if I am to do this like on a more regular basis. A slimy creature lets out a long, ghastly death cry and collapses. You are near to panic and scramble to your feet, grabbing what you think to be your belt from the jaws of the dead beast. You can see light in the far distance and you sprint for it as fast as you can. When you finally emerge into the daylight, you fall onto the leafy ground and fight for breath in painful gasps. Slowly sitting upright, you notice that you are still wearing your belt. You have not lost it after all. What you grabbed from the jaw of the burrow crawler was a leather strap with a small pouch and a sheathed dagger halfway along it. You break open the clasp to find it contains 20 gold crowns. Ooh. Alright, money, money, money. By the way, we can only carry 50 at a time. So at this point, we started with no money and we have almost all the money. Hell yeah. The forest begins to thin out until finally you can make out a road through the trees ahead. Many are wheeling their possessions along on handcarts. Do we join the refugees and perhaps learn more about what happened in the north, or do we continue to move south under the cover of the trees? Alright, talk. People look tired and hungry. They have come many miles from their burning city. Suddenly, you hear the beat of huge wings coming from the north. Kron! Kron! Hide yourselves! The cry goes up all along the road. Just in front of you, a wagon carrying small children break down. Its right wheel jam in a furrow. The children scream in panic. Do we wish to help the children or run for cover? I mean, there's not really any context to get. It's just, we're waiting for Omega to die, so that's how we're spending our time. All right, save. Let's go. Let's help the kids. You sprint toward the wagon. People are running everywhere in panic as the Crown make their attack, carrying their poor victims off into the darkening sky. A large Crown is hovering above the wagon, and 3 snarling yaks drop from its back onto the startled horses. You must fight them or leave the wagon and run to the safety of a nearby farmhouse. Do we fight the yaks or run to the farmhouse? So far, I'd say, yep. Be a goody two shoes. Fight! Yes, alright, there we go, action. The ghoulish creatures thrust their spears at you and attack. Fight these creatures as if they were a single enemy. Alright, at this point, however, at least we're not gonna have to deal with multiple monsters. I mean, there's multiple monsters, but, just in a certain way. So, 15 combat skill and 13 endurance points. So, got a combat ratio of +2. Perfect. Alright, how does the fight go? 1, yay. So, a 1, we deal 4 damage to the enemy and we take 5 damage. Okay, 3. 3 and the thing is 3 again. Oh no, it's 2. 3, we deal 6 damage and we get delta 3. Okay, 10 and 6 damage. Yep. That said, healing is definitely gonna come in handy very, very soon because oh boy. Okay, 7. At least that's better. 7. You take 1 damage and they take 10. Alright. 1 damage and there we go. At that point, I think there's not gonna be a fight in the other paragraph, so I'm already putting the thing. Okay. So, if we win, we can run to the safety of the farmhouse by turning to 148 or return to the woods. What do we do? Alright, go to the farm. Kicking open the door, you dive in the farmhouse. A crown soars overhead, letting out the shriek of victory. A victim hanging in its claws. Getting to your feet, you find yourself alone, but propped against the fireplace is a Warhammer! You may take this weapon if you wish. Alright, there we go. We're totally taking the Warhammer. How about that? So, do we discard the axe or the broadsword in its favor? I mean, essentially our reward is the broad hammer. Alright, we're ditching the starting axe. We got a better kind of axe. Oh, yep, at this point, our starting combat skill is 17. And as long as we're using this weapon, now our combat skill is gonna be 19. So, hooray! Now we're actually doing better in the whole fighting scenario. Alright, do we stay in the farmhouse? Are we gonna feel safer in the forest? Or do we further search the room? Alright, look for stuff. Okay. Right. Endurance point back. Most of the cupboards and drawers are empty. Whoever lived here took nearly everything they own with them, but you do manage to scrape together enough fruit in the cellar for 1 meal. Okay, alright. We get 2 meals. Alright, we may mark this. There we go. After nearly an hour, we get 1 endurance point back. Hell yeah. The crown and their cruel riders vanish toward the west. As the shocked refugees start to emerge from the woods, you can hear the sound of horses in the distance galloping nearer. You stay hidden and wait as the riders come closer. They are the cavalry of the King's Guard wearing the white uniform of His Majesty's army. Do we call them, or do we continue along the forest edge toward the south? All right, call him. Ding! The officer orders his men to halt and ask you your business. You tell him who you are and how the monastery is being destroyed. He's deeply saddened to hear your news. He offers you a horse and asks you to accompany him to Prince Pelatar, the king's son. Do we accept or decline? Okay, accept and decline. Alright, third party is going to decide on the fate of our hero here. Okay, accept. Let's go. Okay. Non-combat scenarios, 14 HP. Ahead of you, you can see a fierce battle raging across a stone bridge. The clash of steel and the cries of men and beasts echo through the forest. In the midst of the fighting, you see Prince Pelatar, the king's son. He is in combat with a large Greek Korgaz who is wielding a black axe above his scaly head. Suddenly, the prince falls wounded, a black arrow in his side. Yeah, I think the prince is over there. And yeah, he's getting fucked also. Ooh, very pretty faces. So, do we defend the fallen prince or do we run into the forest? Alright, princes have more money than kids. Save him. Alright, defend. Let's go. The creature that you now face is a Korgaz, one of a race of cold-blooded reptilian creatures that dwell deep in the treacherous Mackenmire swamps. Their favorite food
Is human flesh.
The prince's sword lies at your feet. You may pick it up and use this as your weapon if you wish. The Korgaz is about to fight you. You must fight him to the death. But yeah, 20 ability points. So yeah, this combat might be rough. At this point, let's hope that we actually start rolling well here. And yeah, by the way, this creature is immune to Mind Blast because why not? It's like, hey, the combat was not possibly difficult enough. Alright, 4. Okay, we deal 5 damage to the enemy, deals 4 damage to us. Ugh. Oops, no, he's not at 255 HP. That will be very unfair and very unfortunate. Oh, 0, yes! 11 damage to the enemy, no damage to us. Alright, we might actually pull this off. Even though we are absolutely fucking scraped beyond all belief. Oh. Okay, 2, what does this give us? 3 damage to the enemy, 5 damage to us. Oops, no. Again, do not minimize this thing. We need it if we want Omega to die. Oh, a 9. Alright. 9, 10 damage to the enemy, none to us. Oh my god, this is gonna be a photo finish, isn't it? Nine, 10 more damage to the enemy. We win! Yeah, we've been deeply fucked up, but we've won. So good job, team. Boo! I'm sorry, but not everything has to resolve itself in murder. The giant Korgaz lies dead at your feet. His evil followers hiss at you and then fall back from the bridge. The prince's soldiers form a protective wall around you and their dying leader with their shield. Black arrow whistle past your head. The dying prince looks up into your eyes and says, "Sky Lord, you must take a message to my father. The enemy's too strong. We cannot hold him. The king must seek that which is in Duranor, or all is lost. Take my horse and ride for the capital. May the luck of the gods ride with you." You bid a sad farewell to the prince, mount his white steed, and head south along the forest path. The battle still rages behind you as the prince's men fight off another assault on the bridge. Let's get us another endurance point because we desperately need them at this point. Alright, 235. Prince's horse is indeed a magnificent animal, fast and sure of foot. You gallop along the twisting track as if it were a straight highway until the noise of battle has disappeared far behind you. You are hungry and must eat a meal during your ride. Okay, alright. After several miles, the path stopped abruptly at a junction. There is a signpost, but it is being hacked down. Alright? Do we have tracking and we want to use it? Yeah, why not? Okay. Your tracking ability tells you that several trails from the right path lead off in the direction of the left path. They have been made by large wolves. The Dark Lords use such beasts to scout for their armies. They are vicious creatures and are often ridden by Gyaks. The left path leads toward Olmgard, and the right path leads off toward the Durncrag Mountain. The choice of route is yours. Do we go left or do we go right? Okay, let's go left. You have ridden about 3 miles when... I should have actually waited. Do I actually go back? Yeah, actually, let's go back. Alright, let's go right. You have ridden about a mile when you are knocked from your horse by an arrow grazing your forehead. You lose 3 endurance points. As you pull yourself to your feet, you see a patrol of Dracarim emerge from the woods on either side of the road. You've been ambushed and you must evade them as quickly as possible by going in the forest. You are dizzy from your wound and you stumble through the trees like a blind man. Suddenly, you fall forward as if the ground had been snatched from beneath your feet. You have fallen headfirst into a hunting pit. As you look up, you can see 4 Dracarim leveling their bows at you, evil sneers spreading simultaneously across their ugly faces. As the world darkens, the last thing you feel is the black shaft of their arrows deep in your chest. You have failed in your mission. Yep, you needed to heed the tracking advice that you got better. It's like I love the loss of endurance here because it leads you in a false sense of security. And yeah, no, it's an instant death path. So yeah, fuck you. That's what it is. So alright, let's go back in time. We're actually going left and now we actually have 8 HP. So okay. You've ridden about 3 miles when, in the distance, you spot the unmistakable silhouette of 5 large doom wolves. Riding on their backs are Gyaks. They seem to be going on ahead to where the path leads down into an open meadow. Suddenly, one of the Gyaks leaves the others and begins to ride back along the path toward you. Alright, do we hide in the underground to let him pass, or do we fight him? Alright, fight! Aye! Oh, sorry. Jeez. Alright, double hide. Triple hide. Wait, did I do the thing? Whoops, I did it incorrectly. You hide behind some thick bushes so that the Doom Wolf and its rider will not see your white horse. Luckily, it works. The beast slopes past and vanishes down the track that you've just come along. Do we wish to attack the remaining Doom Wolves and the rider, or do we push deeper in the forest? I mean, yeah, we can't assert our dominance by hiding, but yeah, we're kind of dying right now. Alright, press on. I'll wait to see if anyone wants to contradict us. Alright, press on. Let's go. You ride deeper and deeper into the forest. Silently, you thank the prince for such a fine horse. For although the ground is a tangle of briars and roots, it never once falters. The Doom Wolves are soon left far behind and you bring your horse to a halt. The light has faded fast and it is almost night. Do we press on ahead or do we wish to bear lift? The same direction as the path you left far behind. Okay, press on. Okay. Okay, you have covered about 2 miles when the trees ahead thin out. You can see a small wooden shack off the edge of the lake. A cloaked man approaches you and offers to row you and your horse across the lake for a fee of 2 gold crowns. We don't have 6 cents, so we can't use it. So do we accept the offer, or we refuse and try to ride around the lake? Alright, 1 vote for Ford. Okay, ford the river, whatever, let's go. Night falls and you are soon engulfed in total darkness. To press on will be useless, for you will be to lose your way. Tethering your horse to a tree, you pull your green kai cloak about you and fall in a restless sleep. You are awoken by the sound of troops in the distance. Across the lake, you see the black-cloaked figures of Dracarim and a pack of Doom Wolves and their riders. A crane appears from above the trees and lands on the roof of the small wooden shack. It is ridden by a creature dressed in red. The crane takes off and begins to fly across the lake to where you are hidden. Okay, we don't have camouflage, so do we wish to ride deeper in the forest or do we fight the creature? Oh, alright, there we go. Now we have a vote for fight. I'll wait until we get 2 fit. Alright, chill! Okay, alright. You stride out to the water's edge and prepare yourself for combat. The crown and its rider spot you and begin to speed across the lake barely inches above the surface. The rider lets out a scream that freezes your blood. He is a Vordak, a fierce lieutenant of the Dark Lords. He is upon you and you must fight him. Deduct 2 points from your combat skill unless you have the Kai discipline of Mind Shield. But the creature is attacking you with its Mind Force as well than a huge black maze. So all in all, we have 17 skill points for this. So, alright, combat ratio of 0. It's even grounds, motherfucker. Let's do it. Right, we killed the Korgaz earlier. We can. Oh. Okay, 2, so 4 damage on both sides. Okay, 5. 7 damage to the enemy, 2 to us. 7, 14. 6. 8 damage to the enemy, 2 damage to us. Okay, again, this is gonna be a close call. Why we should maybe beware of encounters because we're not totally well suited to fight anything. With that said, we got a 0, so never fear. Our worries should be over. 0, 12 damage to the enemy, none to us. The Vordak is dead. Praise him. Okay, I don't think that's how the expression goes, but I don't know. I like the sound of it. Alright, we won the fight. We won the fight, and I probably should remove... okay, 5, so now we're at 6. You hear the angry cries of the enemy drift along across the lake. You must leave here before more Kran appear. You mount your steed and push on further in the forest. Oh, you have ridden about 2 miles into the tangle of trees when the ground becomes very marshy. Pick a number from the random number table. Oh boy, alright, let's go. I don't like the sound of this. If it is below 5, your horse is suddenly plunged into... Oh.
Gratulary.
I'm suing this game for stealing my RNG table mechanic.
Yep. So yeah, if it's below 5, your horse is suddenly plunged into thick mud up to its belly. The number is 5 and above, you managed to steer clear. Nope, we didn't. Nope, 0 is, yeah, it's 0. I'm sorry. So now we gotta draw a number again. Alright. The number is 7 or less. The mud engulfs you up to your armpits. Your horse gives one last despairing scream as its muzzle disappears into the bubbling mud. If not, then this is your last chance! No, if you pick any number except a 9, the foul-smelling bug sucks you under and claims another victim. Your life and your mission ends here. Alright, we have to redo this thing again, it seems, in order to get ourselves a ride out of here. Alright, now can we escape the swamp into this other alternate timeline? Okay, we failed. Okay, this time we succeed. So yeah, you drag yourself onto firm ground and turn to 189. You thank your kite training and your quick thinking, for that bug could have proved as deadly as any Dracarim or Kran. I mean, it already was deadly. I mean, sadly, our lone wolf does not know about these alternate timelines. You are worried about losing time and push on further into the trees toward the south. Ahead of you, you see a white path that also leads south. Oh yes, 3 chapters! Woohoo! We're getting actual HP back for sure. Spur your horse to a gallop and race down the long straight path. In the far distance, you can just make out the silhouette of Holmgard on the horizon. Its high walls and tall spires glinting in the morning sun. Your path joins a highway running from north to south. It is the main turnpike road between the northern port of Toran and the capital. You set off toward Holmgard, your eyes peeled for Kran in the clear morning sky. Yay, another 3 HP. Thank God for healing. We would have lost this so far ago. You have ridden several miles and have seen no signs of refugees or of the enemy. Race on toward a high ridge in the middle distance. You shall be able to see the capital from there. As you reach the peak, the sight that meets you on the far side is one of hope. But there is still one challenge you know you will have to face. Before you are the tall, grey whites and glimmering spires of Holmgard, the city's banner fluttering from the battlements in the fresh morning breeze. Stretching out toward the west, the river Elidil traces its course from the mountains of the Derncrag Range to the Olm Gulf. But below the mountain peaks, you can see a vast black army marching relentlessly on toward the capital. To your right, you can see the highway heading off to the rolling plain toward Ormgard. At a gallop, you could make the Howler fieldwork of the city's defense in less than an hour, but you will be in the open for most of the time and vulnerable to attack by Kran. Directly ahead of you, a wide river drifts sluggishly toward the Elidil. If you abandon your horse, you could swim toward the outer defenses under cover of the riverbanks. Or, there is a final alternative. To your left lies the Graveyard of the Ancients. These tombs and crumbling monuments to a forgotten age will conceal your approach, but it is a forbidden area. Many are the unnamed horrors that lie there in restless sleep, waiting to consume the unwary trespasser. Alright, do we try our luck by the highway? We stand a better chance of reaching the capital by river? Or are we brave enough to risk the unknown peril of the Graveyard? Alright, I see 2 votes for Graveyard already. Let's go there. That sounds like a great idea. As you descend the ridge toward the Graveyard of the Ancients, you are aware of a strange mist and cloud that swirls all around this gray and forbidding place, blocking the sun and keeping the graveyard in perpetual gloom. A creeping chill seems to penetrate your very bones. Your horse becomes startled, and no matter how you urge him on, he refuses to go any nearer to this dreadful place. So you must leave your horse and press on by foot. Yep, we hate our horse. Congratulations. Alright, at the very least, we're starting to not look too shabby insurance-wise. Your passage through the graveyard will not be easy, for the ground is broken and covered with a thorny graveweed. This wicked briar tears your cloak and cuts your leg. The hair hangs heavy and still. Foul gazes seep from open crypts, and the haunting murmur of distant whispering fills your ear. Carefully, you approach a gap between two ancient pillars and part the graveweed with your cloak tent. Suddenly, the ground collapses beneath you and you fall in a tumble of earth and stone. You are winded, but not hurt. You have fallen 15 feet or so to the roof of an underground tomb. The walls are sheer and you cannot climb them. An arc tunnel leads out of the tomb toward the east, in front of which lies the sarcophagus of some ancient noble. We don't have sixth sense, so do we open the sarcophagus to see if it contains treasure, or do we leave via the tunnel? Alright, treasure, leave, or loot! Alright, loot! The lid of the sarcophagus slips to the floor with a dull crunch. You are looking at the remains of an ancient king, who lies still surrounded by his treasure. An ornate crown is still in position on his skull. The jaw of the skeleton is wide open, and the darkness of the mouth seems strangely bottomless. A distant rumbling can now be heard from deep in the herd. We have Mind Shield? No, we don't. You cannot move. You are being held rigid by some powerful force. Your eyes are drawn toward the mouth of the skeleton. From deep in the earth, you hear a low humming, like the sound of millions of angry bees. A dull red glow appears in the empty eye sockets of the dead king, and the humming increases until your ears are filled with the deafening roar. You are in the presence of an ancient evil, far older and stronger than the Dark Lord themselves. We don't have a Vordak gem, but we have soap, so I'd say we're okay, right? The last thing that you experience of this life is the feeling of being sucked in the void of darkness. No trace of you remains in this world, for you have passed into a realm of timeless existence. You have become a slave of an ancient evil. Your adventure ends here. Yep, too bad.
What's up?
Excellent timing, thank you. So, alright, let's go back in time. So, 1, 2. Okay, we lose 2 HP. Yeah, this book is definitely kicking our ass so far. Alright, I guess we have no choice but to leave. The walls are dank and slimy. Walls are slimy and buzzing in this dungeon of despair. The stale air chokes you and cobwebs brush across your face. You can feel panic grip your stomach as the tunnel gets darker and darker. You reach a junction where the tunnel meets a corridor leading from north to south. Do we go north or south? Yep, that's essentially what we're doing. Omega is slowly dying right now. Alright, two votes for north. Let's go there. Cautiously, you move along the corridor until you come to a sharp eastward turn. A strange greenish light can be seen in the distance. Okay, do we continue or do we go the southern route instead? Alright, I love green! Yeah, green, money, go forward, alright. I'm glad everyone agrees. Alright. Nope, it's not that. Okay, there we go. You descend a flight of stone stairs that lead to a large chamber. A macabre sight awaits you. Directly opposite, across the large stone room, is an ornate archway with a corridor leading into the darkness beyond. A strange green light radiates from 2 lines of skulls, each resting on a stone plinth. They face each other to form an eerie walkway across the room. Do we wish to walk across the room to the archway, or do we attack the skulls? Yeah, I attack the darkness. Alright, fuck all skulls. Alright, let's go. Let's fuck up the skulls. Running across the room, you lash out at the skulls, smashing them to fragments. You notice that inside each skull is a bubbling grey jelly that seems to writhe and change its shape, sprouting bat-like wings and suckers from its glistening form. In horror and looting, you race for the exit corridor and escape just as a heavy portcullis falls with a crash, completely sealing off the chamber. Okay, alright. Whoops. Yeah, we have 189 HP, perfect. The corridor soon widens into a large hall. At the far end, a stone staircase leads up to a huge door. 2 black candles on either side of the stone step dimly illuminate the chamber. You notice that no wax has melted, and as you get nearer, you can feel that they give off no heat. Ancient engravings cover the stone surfaces of the wall. Here's the lock. There's a keyhole in the lock plate. Anxious to leave this evil tomb, you examine the door for a latch. An ornate pin appears to lock the door, but there's also a keyhole in the lock plate. Alright, we have mind over matter, so alright, let's go, let's use it. If you concentrate on the keyhole, you could move the mechanism of the lock and open it. You can then make the pin levitate and free it from the lock plate, avoiding falling prey to any trap that may be set off as the door unlocks. So, do we wish to use mind over matter to open the lock and levitate the pin, or do we just remove it with our bare hands? Yep, brain magic, let's go. Focusing your powers on the lock, you try to visualize the inner mechanism. Gradually, its image appears in your mind's eye. It is old and corroded, but it still functions. You are in danger of losing your concentration when a subtle click confirms that your effort has not been in vain. The pin is an easier task. Slowly it rises out of the lock and falls to the floor. The granite door swings toward you on hidden hinges, and the grey half-light of the graveyard floods into the tomb. The exit is overgrown with graveweed, and you suffer many small cuts to your face and hands as you fight your way through to the surface. You are startled by a sudden noise. You turn to see the disembodied head of a corpse laughing at you. In blind panic, you race through the eerie necropolis toward the southern gate. At last, you can reach the wooden fieldwork surrounding the outer city. As you race toward the sentry post, you can hear the excited shouts of the guard cheering you on. Thank the god that they recognize you, for you must appear a ragged and suspicious figure. Your cloak is torn and hang in tatters, your face is scratched and blood smeared, even though we're at 22 endurance out of 22. And the dust of the graveyard covers you from head to toe. Splashing through a shallow stream, you stagger toward the gate. The full horror of the graveyard encounter begins to catch up with you. The last thing you recall before exhaustion robs you of consciousness is falling into the outstretched arm of 2 soldiers who have run from the fieldwork to help you. You black out for only a few minutes before you are revived with a measure of strong spirit. Feeling weary, but thankful to be alive, you lean on the shoulder of the king's men and you stagger toward the outer defenses. As you reach the walls of the fieldworks, the large old gates open and you are quickly hurried inside. A sergeant, bloodstained and battle-weary, calls to an officer who turns and recognizes your cloak. Hold on a second, I think we can do... Alright. My lord, he says. Where are the other Kai Masters? We are in desperate need of their wisdom. The Dark Lord presses us most cruelly and casualties are high. Whoops, I fucked it up. You inform the brave officer of the terrible fate of your kinsmen and the urgency of your mission to seek the king's counsel. Without saying a word, he motions to a soldier to bring forward 2 horses. You both mount and gallop off toward the high city wall of Olmgrad. You reach the main gates of the capital and stare in awe at the height of the city wall. 200 feet high, the walls of Omgrad have withstood the ravages of both time and the Dark Lords. You and the officer race through the tunnel of the Hither Gatehouse, 100 yards in length, and finally halt outside the doorway of the main watchtowers. Great crowds of soldiers and civilians are running to and fro. Do we wish to continue following the officer, or we think we can do a better job getting to the King's Citadel on our own? Alright, continue following. I'll see if there's any discords. Okay, follow. Staying close to the officer, you follow him through an arch portal and up a short flight of stairs to a long hall. Soldiers run back and forth bearing orders on ornate scrolls to officers stationed around the city wall. A haggard and scar-faced man dressed in the white and purple robes of the King's Court approaches you and bids you follow him to the Citadel. Do we follow this man, or do we decline his offer and return to the crowded streets? Yeah, what a complicated choice. I wonder what we'll do. Alright, follow. You follow the man into a small library of the main hall. He pushes one of the many books of the shelves which line all four walls, and you hear a metallic click. One section of the bookcase slowly slides back to reveal a hidden passage. Do we follow him in the passage, or do we go back to the street? Follow! You walk for nearly 10 minutes along a dark and winding corridor, and then start to climb a steep staircase to a small wooden door. The man presses a secret catch and the door opens. You enter a large, plushly decorated bedroom with a huge marble bat that takes up one corner of the room. The man suggests that you refresh yourself here whilst he seeks an audience with the king. You quickly bathe and change into some white robes that have been left out on a large marble table. Shortly, the man returns and leads you to a long corridor lined with exquisite tapestries. You finally arrive at a large door guarded with two soldiers wearing silver armor. You are about to meet the king. You enter the Chamber of State, a magnificent hall decorated lavishly in white and gold. The king and his closest advisors are studying a large map spread upon a marble plinth in the center of the chamber. Their faces are lined with worry and concentration. Pictured here, worry and concentration. A silence fills the hall as you tell of the death of your kinsmen and of the perilous journey to the Citadel. As you finish your story, the king approaches and takes your right hand in his. Hold on a second. Okay, I know what to do. Lone Wolf, you have selfless courage, the quality of a true Kai Lord. Your journey here has been one of great peril, and although your news come as a grievous blow, the spirit of your determination is like a beacon of hope to us all in this dark hour. You have brought great honor to the memory of your masters, and for that we praise you. You receive the praise and heartfelt thanks of the entire hall, an honor that brings a certain redness to your young face. The king raises his hand and all of the voice cease. You have done all that Summerlund could have asked of a loyal son, but she is greatly in need of you still. The Dark Lords are powerful once more, and their ambition knows no bound. Our only hope lies within Duranor, with the power that once defeated the Dark Lords an age ago. Lone Wolf, you are the last of the kind. You have the skills. Will you journey to Duranor and return with the Summer Sword, the Sword of the Sun? Only with the gift of the gods may we crush this evil and save our land. If you wish to accept the quest of the Summer Sword, begin your adventure with Book 2 of the Lone Wolf Adventure, Fire on the Water. But yeah, congratulations, you've beaten the book. So hey, Omega, how are you doing, Omega? Let's have a quick look at him to make sure everything is okay. Okay, he's definitely having fun. Alright, perfect. And the notification thing is totally having fun too. As for me, when this book came out, I was just born, so hey. So, alright, we have some time to kill, so... How about we go and read some more? Why not? I mean, this is going well right now. Alright, first of all, I probably should actually, you know, get book number 2 downloaded and ready to go. Because I didn't expect that we'd beat that book so quickly. So, alright, let us proceed in due haste. Oh no, please note that WinRAR is not free software. Oh no. They've actually managed to stop me with morality. Yep, I didn't buy. Yeah, if you want to play along, then check out the website projectaeon.org. All of the books are available online. You can play them there. You can make yourself like. There's even like links toward tools that will make the playing like even easier to do. So, yeah, all in all, there's definitely many ways in order to play it. Yeah, 7 zip that. Alright. So yeah, there we go. At this point, I'm just gonna make sure. Okay, the book is... Oh, whoops. That's right. It probably should work better if this is the thing that's opened up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you are Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lord. Bitter war rages throughout your homeland as the evil Dark Lords of the West lay siege to the capital. And fire on the water, the king has sent you on a desperate journey to retrieve the only power in Magnamon that can save your people. The Summer Sword, the Sword of the Sun. Ahead of you lies terrible danger, ferocious sea storms, the Tunnel of Tarnalin, and the ghostly death hulks of Vonatar the Traitor. Use your skills wisely, for only you can save your land from the devastation of the Dark Lords. So, alright, time for book number 2. So yeah, remember what they've said earlier. Whenever we will finish a book, we will inherit from another skill. So, yeah, now we can totally pick something else. So, judging by what we've seen so far, which of these skills would you want to have on our next adventure? Camouflage, hunting, Sixth Sense... Mind Shield, Mind Blast. Alright. So far, everyone seems to agree on Mind Shield, so we might as well go with that. Alright, Mind Shield, Mind Shield, Mind Shield, Mind Shield. Okay, let's cross that out. Alright, perfect. Now we need to also go over our equipment. Alright. Guard Captain Duval leads you to the Royal Armory, where your drink tunic and Kai cloak are taken from you to be repaired and cleaned. While you await their return, Captain Duval hands you a pouch of gold for your journey. To find out how much is in the gold, alright. How much money do we got? Fuck you, Captain Duval. Here, Lone Wolf, have 1 gold coin. I hope it helps you in your adventure. It's like, fuck you, you fucking sheepsteak. What the hell? But yeah, on a large table in the center of the armory, a number of items have been laid out. We may take 2 of the following. Again, that's a really cheap steak. Oh, had 10. Ah. Okay, I thought, if anything, I preferred my version of the event because that was funnier. Alright, whatever, 10 plus 10 gold. So now we can take 2 of the following. We take a sword, a short sword, 2 meals, a chainmail waistcoat that raises our endurance point by 4, a mace, a healing potion, a quarterstaff, a spear, a shield, which gives us 2 extra...
What a scene, man. Woo-wee.
Thanks you for the donation. Alright, so shield, broadsword. Okay. I guess that's what we get. So what are we taking along for the ride? At this point, we don't really need weapons. We have a warhammer, and that's all that matters. Oh, alright, shield. So shield. Wait, how is this carried? This point I'm not even sure if the... Okay, I'm gonna guess it's a special item. Yeah, Captain Duval, the jerk. Okay, alright. At this point, let's put this to no. That's not a formula. I want this to be text. Oh boy, alright. How do you work a Google thing? Like, I wanted to do this in Excel, but unfortunately, I couldn't figure out, you know... Ah, okay, there we go. Plain text. Nah. How do I make this work? What's this? Oh. I don't want any of this. Okay, there we go. +2 combat skills. Alright. At point, we are at 21. We're actually starting to be really shapely. Error! So, what other item are we taking along? Because at that point, we can still take something. As a reminder, at this point, I'd say either the 2 meals, the waistcoat, or the healing potion. Okay, alright, let's pick the chainmail waistcoat. +4 extra endurance point. Four endurance point. Okay, now no error. Thank you. Okay, alright. Seems as if we're all ready to go. Alright, the story so far. I mean, do we really have to read all of this again? Yeah. I mean, we probably should at least, you know, read the things that matter. But yeah, your journey to the capital was perilous indeed. The enemy had overrun much of the country and were marching upon Holmgard, the capital itself. But despite the many dangers, you fought your way through to the capital and delivered your warning to the king's court. There you were greatly praised for your skill and bravery, but told your mission was not complete. With the Kyle Lord dead, there remained only one power in all of the Magnamon that could save your people from the Dark Lords. The Summer Sword. After the defeat of Vashna, the Summer Sword had been bestowed upon the allies of Duranor as a mark of trust and allegiance that exists between the two kingdoms. In return, King Allen of Duranor gave Summerlund a magnificent golden ring bearing the royal arms of Duranor. This ring is known as the Seal of Hammerdal. At that time, King Allen vowed that if ever the Shadow of the West should rise again to threaten Summerlund, Duranor will come to the aid of her ally. The king had given you the Seal of Hammerdal. Yeah, we probably should note that. It's a special item. Whoops. Okay, there's not really any kind of effects to this. Your quest is to travel to Duranor to fetch the Summer Sword back. But meanwhile, the enemy has broken through the outer defenses to the capital and are preparing to besiege the city wall. As Captain Duval of the King's Guard leads you to the Royal Armory to equip you in your mission, the King's word keeps coming back to you. 40 days. 40 days, Lone Wolf. We have strength to stand against them for only 40 days. Alright, we are ready to go. Now, Captain Duval and his guards escort you to the Citadel Gate, where a small covered wagon awaits you. As soon as you clamber him, the gates are thrown open, and you're hurried away through the crowded streets of Holmgard. After a short but uncomfortable journey, the wagon stops and the driver pulls open the canvas flap. This is the K, my lord. There is your ship, the Green Scepter. As he speaks, the driver points across the gate with sleek trade caravel anchored near to the harbor wall. The first mate's name is Ronan. We'll find him waiting for you across the square at the Good Cheer Inn. Then the driver bids you farewell and quickly disappears into the teeming crowd. You reach the inn to find the front doors locked and the window shutters barred. You're trying to decide what to do next when a hand grabs your arm and you're pulled into the darkness. Do we draw our weapon and attack our unknown assailant, or do we just try to escape his grasp? Okay, pull free. Alright, everyone agrees. Forgive me, my lord. I did not mean to startle you. The man seems nervous, and the open hand that is extended toward you is shaking quite visibly. With some caution, you accept the gesture of friendship and sit with the man at a tavern table. The place is deserted, save from a couple of mice gnawing at a large chunk of cheese. Captain Kelman has instructed me to take you to the Green Scepter, but only if I am sure that you are the Kai Lord they call Lone Wolf. Can you prove your identity? So we have to show off our mastery using one of our abilities. So we could use healing, we could demonstrate our weapon skill, use animal kinship, or mind over matter. Which of these skills are we gonna use to prove that we are a lone wolf? Alright, animal kinship. Oh. Okay, alright, animal kinship is the first one to have gotten 2 votes. Feeling hungry? You say, peering at the 2 busy house mice in the far corner. Perhaps you will care for some cheese. Using your Kai discipline, you order the 2 mice to bring the cheese to you. The sailor looks on in amazement as the 2 furry creatures deposit the cheese at your feet and then scurry away. You are indeed a Kai Lord, says the sailor, but the astonishment on his face quickly changes to an unpleasant sneer. Or shall I say, you were! Blah! So yeah, we turn to see 3 harbor thugs come toward us as he speaks. A door crashes open behind you and you turn to see 3 harbor thugs advancing toward you. Each is armed with a scimitar and you have no choice but to fight all 3 as one enemy. That's okay, at least we have 21 ability. So alright, combat ratio 5. Enemy HP 25 and our HP 26. So, alright, time to bring back our good old combat interface. Okay, 6 and combat ratio is 5. Okay, we deal 11 damage and we take a single point of damage. Alright. Let's TGIF this motherfucker. Alright, they're dead. And we only took another point of damage. Alright. Oh yeah, you may evade after 2 rounds of combat by running through a side door. Yeah, like we need to retreat. Okay, first of all, let's bring the game back. The sailor who claimed to be first mate Ronan seemed to have escaped during the fight. Hold on a second. Oh, that's that point. Yeah, we've already recuperated 1 of our HP. Yeah, the sailor who claimed to be first mate Ronan seemed to have escaped during the fight. You quickly search the bodies of the harbor thugs but find nothing of value. However, you do notice that each of them has a tattoo of a serpent on their left wrist. Whoever sent them to kill you must already know the importance of your quest. You leave the tavern by the side door and discover the dead body of a sailor lying beneath some stairs. Beside the collar of its blood-stained jacket is a tag bearing the name Ronan. This must be the real Ronan. He has been murdered. Cover the body and turn toward the quay where the Green Scepter is anchored about 300 yards from the harbor wall. We want to use one of the many boats and coracle that are roped to the quayside to go to the Green Scepter, or do we try to hunt down the imposter who claimed to be Ronan? Alright, revenge! I mean, 22 is like my starting point. I'm not gonna count like special items in there. You quickly deduce that the imposter must have escaped by the main entrance to the tavern, and he is still in the harbor area. He must be in or around the main square. You search the building and alleyways round the square, but there's no sign of him at all. Rather than waste more time in a fruitless search, you return to the quayside and untie a small coracle from its mooring. As you row toward the Green Scepter, you begin to feel uneasy that so early in your mission, your enemies seem already to have found you. As you paddle toward the sleek trade caravel, you notice to your surprise that the boarding ladder is being pulled up. A mean-looking sailor leans over the gunwale and curses at you. You seem to think that you're a refugee trying to stow away on board. But when you shout that you're a lone wolf and you were ambushed by an impostor at the tavern, the ladder is soon lowered again. As you climb over the side of the ship, you are met by a tall man in a gold-braided uniform. His face is almost totally covered by a shock of bright red hair and a bright red beard. "Haul anchor!" he booms. The crew springs into action as if their very lives depended on it. The captain ushers you below to his cabin, where he pours 2 glasses of Wanlo, a strong spirit.
What a scene, man.
Me? Come on, the main sailor will not donate money. Come on. Alright, the captain ushers you below to his cabin, where he pours 2 glasses of Wanlo, a strong spirit. His face shows concern as you tell him what has happened. There is evil treachery at work, and the enemy already has plans afoot to thwart your quest. He begins when you've told your tale. It seems that you have lost the element of surprise, and I have lost a courageous first mate. Let us only hope that the voyage to Duranor be swift and safe. You leave him up to go on deck just in time to see the outline of Holmgard on the horizon. With mixed feeling of pride and apprehension, you descend the stairway to your cabin as the last spire of the capital disappears from view. Alright, let's use the random number table to get a number in order to decide how is our trip. Zero! The following morning, you are woken by the cry of seagulls as they wheel and soar above the clipper. The wind is strong and it fills the sails. Breakfast with Captain Kelman, who is in better spirits than the previous day. He tells you that the Green Scepter is making good speed and should arrive at Port Bax, the main Duranese seaport, within a week. Suddenly you hear a cry from the crow's nest. "Land off the port bow! Land the port!" You and the captain climb up on deck and brace yourselves against the fresh sea breeze. "That's Manon, the southernmost island of the Curlinden chain," says the captain, pointing toward the sharp rocky coastline in the distance. "Wreck Point," the trader called it. Many a ship have ended her day upon these granite teeth. Or granite. Captain Kelman hands you an ornate telescope with which to take a closer look. The sharp rocks are festooned with the splintered skeleton of ships that have run aground or were dashed against the shore in a storm. You stare in fascination at the shattered hull, imagining the terrifying scenes of their destruction. Then suddenly, high above the pinnacle of stone hovers a black shadow, like a small rain cloud. It seems to be moving toward you. Suddenly you realize that what the cloud really is. It is a swarm of large Zlan beasts and possibly some Kran. The alarm is shouted along the deck. "Prepare for battle!" So if we wish to stay on deck, ready your weapon, or do we return to our cabin? Alright, fight! Yep, there we go, let's go. You were right, the cloud is made of huge Zlan beasts and many Kran. A smaller species, but one that is just as deadly. Hanging below their black bellies are a net full of Gyaks. As the Zlan beasts descend on the Green Scepter, a net of shrieking Gyak crashes upon the deck behind you. Some are crushed in the fall, but many more have survived and waste no time attacking you. You must fight them as one enemy. At this point, we have a good track record of Gyak slaughter. So, alright, they have 15 AP. Alright, our combat ratio is 6. Alright, let's go. 9! Alright! We're off to a good start. So 6 is 9, 16 damage, and we get none. Alright, we insta-win. Yep, fuck you, Yaks. Win this combat. Let's go. A fierce battle. Whoops. That's right. I probably should put the thing back on. A fierce battle now rages throughout the ship as the evil Gyaks fight to win control of the Green Scepter. Perched high up in the mast, the Crans are rendering the sails with their talon and razor-sharp teeth, whilst the Zlan beasts have flown back toward wreck points to pick up more nets of malicious Gyaks. Throughout the bloody-strewn decks, a menacing shape looms. Both Gyaks and sailors are cut down by the creature as it advances toward you. It is a Drakkar, a cruel warrior of the Dark Lords. Raising his jet-black broadswords, he attacks and you must fight him to the death. Yep, we're not wasting any time today, oh boy. So 16, alright, combat ratio of 5. And 24 HP against 26. Oh, fuck. Alright, so we deal 6 damage and we get dealt 4. Oh, 0. Alright, it's the big roll. The big roll of destiny that I've totally obscured. Alright, 5. 18 damage! Alright, we barely kill him with this assault. Yep, take that, you jerk. That's what you get. Alright, we win this combat, let's go. Seeing their master slain, the Gyaks falter and retreat toward the stern. Captain Kelman rallies his crews and attack, leading his men against the snarling creatures and driving them back until they leap into the sea to avoid the rain of swords. Knowing the battle to be lost, the Cran leaves the mast and fly back to the distant coastline. Our thanks, Sky Lord, the captain says and shakes your hand. We are proud and thankful to have you with us. A cheer resounds along the deck as the crew voice their praise. You help tend the wounded whilst repairs are carried out on the damaged mast. Within 2 hours, they are complete, the wind fills the sail, and you continue your voyage to Duranor. After a 3 uneventful day at sea, you find shipboard life rather dreary. If you have the Kai discipline of healing, any endurance point that you've lost on this adventure so far are restored. Yay! Oh yay, we get a full heal. We're back at 26. So we'll bring your endurance point score back to the original one. If you do not possess the skill, restore half the point that you've lost in combat. On the afternoon of the 4th day, you are talking with an injured sailor up on deck while you smell smoke seeping from the hold. Do we enter the hold? Do we shout fire? Or do we warn the captain? Oh, enter! Alright. You release the lock and slide back at the hatch cover. The sudden draught of air causes flame to billow out of the hold. You stumble backward, clutching your burnt face. Lose 2 endurance points. Whoops. Fire! No! Fire! The cry goes up. In panic, the crew fight out the flames. It takes over an hour to control the blaze. The damage is considerable. The entire store of food and fresh water was in that hold, and the fires completely ruined both, as well as weakened the structure of the ship. As you stand surveying the wreckage, the captain approaches you, his face blackened by the smoke. He's carrying something in a bundle under his arm. "You must talk in private, my lord," he says quietly. Without replying, you turn and follow him to his cabin. After taking care to close his door, the captain opens the mysterious bundle and tips the content onto his cabin table. A large, charred earthenware jug and several blackened rags drop in a heap. They give off a strange, oily smell. Also, I'm bored. This was no accidental fire, he says solemnly. This was an act of sabotage. The forward hole is a food store, yet I find this oil jug and these soak rags up on the floor. Someone is gonna give you a donation. Hey, welcome to Junk Boat. You must be the talent. Please sign in. Oops, my ship is burning. Alright, the forward hole is a food store, yet I find this oil jug and these soak rags up on the floor. Someone on this ship is prepared to risk his life to stop us reaching Duranor. You both stare at the burnt rags as if they hold the answer to your questions. Suddenly, a cry from up on deck breaks the silence. Ship ahoy! Ship of the starboard! Okay, alright. I thought I heard something for a second. Grabbing his sword and telescope, the captain disappears through the door and up the ladder on the deck above. Do we follow him or do we search his cabin real quick? Alright, search. Let's do it. Oh, also I just noticed that I fucked up the insurance. Oh well, at this point we're back at 26. Keeping one eye on the door, you quickly search the drawers of an ornate chart table. There does not appear to be anything unusual about the contents. You find mainly charts, highland maps, and navigational instruments. You're about to abandon this fruitless search when you notice a small lever hidden below the tabletop. Push it, and a panel flips open to reveal a small wooden box with a brass lock. Alright, we have mind over matter. Let's go. You focus your concentration on the small brass lock. After a few seconds, you hear a faint click that tells you that the inner latch is now unlocked. Inside is a scroll bearing the royal seal of Summerlun and containing confidential orders about your mission to Duranor. As you put the box back into its hiding place, you notice that a deadly trap had been hidden in the lid. Your Kai discipline has saved you from the swift death of a poison needle. Closing the drawer, you quickly check that nothing looks as though it has been disturbed before joining the captain on deck. Yep. Somehow, a mind over matter saved us twice. Seems our bird has flown, said the captain, pointing to a longboat moving swiftly toward another ship on the horizon. She flies no flag, and her hull is of a strange shape. I've never ever before seen the like. You watch as the longboat reaches the mysterious ship. As if by magic, a sea fog appears from nowhere and engulfs the vessel. Moments later, both the ship and the fog have disappeared. Alright, let's pick a number. Okay, 9. The crew start to whisper. You hear the words, ghost ship, and curse voyage. But the muttering stops when the captain's voice booms out an order for all hands on deck. Only the creaking of the timbers can be heard as Captain Kelman climbs to the rear deck to address the crew. Men, we're 3 days sail from Port Bax. The fire has robbed us of our provisions and our fresh water has been fouled. We shall have to steer a new course for Ragadorn, where we shall make good our repairs and replenish our stores. That is all. The crew seemed pleased with the captain's announcement and set about their duties with renewed vigor. Then the captain turns to you. We're about 8 hours from Ragadorn, my lord. My orders are to see you safely to Port Bax and pass you into the care of the Sumlending Consul, Lord Lieutenant Rygar. But time is not our ally, and I feel the repairs may take a week or more to complete. When we drop anchor, you will have to find your own route to Duranor, by sea with us or alone by the coast road. As you return to your cabin, the king's word haunts your thought. 40 days, Lone Wolf. We only have strength to stand against them for 40 days. You do not have long to complete your dangerous mission. As dawn breaks, a fierce storm rises and you are woken by the violent rocking of the ship. The floor of your cabin is awash and the shouts of the crew can hardly be heard above the howling wind. You quickly dress, gather up your equipment, and make your way to the deck. You are soon joined by the captain, who takes hold of your arm and orders you to return to your cabin. How's the fiesta going? Yeah, here it is. He's still going along just fine. Our good old boy Omega. Okay, you're soon joined by the captain, who takes hold of your arms and orders you to return to your cabin. Suddenly, as you start to go down, there's a thunderous crack as high in the rigging, part of the mast snap. You look up to see the shattering pole falling toward you. Alright, pick a number. Alright, 6. As the mast smashes into the deck, a splintering beam hits your head and you're knocked overboard. Gasping for air, you fight your way to the surface and catch hold of a hatch cover. You're half stunned, you lose 2 endurance points. Alright, let's just do this real quick. You pull yourself onto this makeshift raft and cling to it with all your strength. If you're wearing a chainmail waistcoat, you must discard it now or otherwise you will be drowned. Alright, goodbye, good item. It was a pleasure seeing you earlier. You feel dizzy and sick. As the heaving sea buffets you relentlessly, you gradually slip into unconsciousness. When you awake many hours later, the storm is past. By the position of the sun, you judge it to be late afternoon. In the distance, you can see a small fishing boat and beyond it, on the horizon, land. The only trace of the green scepter is the hatch cover on which you now sit. Do we wish to use our cloak to try and signal the fishing boat, or do we ignore the boat and paddle toward the shore? Alright, trust no one. Signal. No signal. Alright, we're just ignoring the boat. When you're only 50 yards offshore, you slip into the waves and swim toward land. When you finally reach the beach, you sink your fingers deep into the wet sand and slowly claw your way up the beach to the shelter of some dunes. You're exhausted and very hungry. The only possessions you have saved are your gold crown, your backpack, and any special item that you did not discard during the storm. But any weapons and backpack item you had possessed before the storm have been lost. Ow. Alright. Yeah, we lost the soap and we lost our meal, and we have lost all of our weapons. Rip. So at this point, okay, we have the shield. So yeah, right now our effective combat skill will be 15. Alright. However, a few hundred yards away, you notice clumps of small twisted trees laden with purple fruit. Alright, if we have hunting, no, we don't have hunting. Do we wish to eat the fruit, or we don't eat the fruit? Alright, eat the fruit, don't eat, eat. Alright, let's go, let's eat. They are larnuma trees and their fruit is very nutritious as well as being sweet and juicy. You pick, after your meal, you feel much stronger. You pick enough fruit for 2 meals and stuck it in your backpack. Okay, alright. In the end, it turned out better than expected. Looking behind the trees, you see a wide coast road that stretches into the distance to the east and west. There are no signposts. Do we wish to go east or west? Now, we only knew after we heated it, because we were kind of dumb. Okay, alright. You walk for over 3 hours along the lonely coast road before night begins to fall. You're very tired and you decide to get some sleep and continue at dawn. You remember the tales told by your Kai masters of the wild lands between Summerland and Duranor, where packs of wild dogs roam the wasteland at night. With these stories in mind, you decide to spend the night in the safety of a large leafy tree at the edge of the road. The rest is very refreshing, restore 2 endurance points, and turn to 312. You don't need anything. Alright. Although you awake to a cold and rain-swept dawn, the branches of the tree in your Kai cloak have kept you warm and dry during the night. Looking along the coast road in the distance, you can see a wagon heading toward you. Do we get down from the tree and flag it down, or we try to jump onto it as it passes beneath our branch? Alright, are we... Alright, flag it down. Alright, yeah, let's flag it down. Oh. At this point, yeah, at this point, 1, 2, at this point it was equal, yeah. Okay, it is a large passenger wagon similar to those used by highway travelers of Summerlund. The driver pulls the horse to a halt and stares at you from under the wide brim of his hat. You ask where he's bound for. We're bound for Ragadorn, due there by noon today. A seat will cost you 3 gold crowns, but you can ride on the roof for only 1. So, do we want to ride inside for $3, or do we go on the roof for $1? Okay, alright, let's go on the roof. You wrap yourself in your Kai cloak and raise the hood. The driver shouts and whips the horse, and soon you're on your way along the tree-lined coast road to Ragadorn. During the journey, you talk to the driver and learn some useful things about the seaport of Ragadorn. Ever since Killian the Overlord died 3 years ago, Ragadorn has been ruled, or misruled, according to the driver, by his son, Lachlan. It seems that he and his men are nothing more than pirates. They tax the people heavily and murder all who oppose them. If you're hungry during the coach ride, you must eat a meal or lose 3 insurance points. Okay, consider this done. At last, in the distance, you can just make out the city wall of Ragadorn. A bell is tolling. It rings 12 times. Eventually, the coach passes through the west gate of the wall and pulls to a halt. If you want to get to Duranor, you can catch a coach from the stable at the east gate. Best to remind, it leaves at 1 o'clock, the driver tells you. You thank the driver for the advice and jump to the cobblestone below. For the first time, you suddenly notice the awful stench of this dirty seaport. The rusty sign nailed to a rot-infested house says, "Welcome to Ragadorn." Do we want to go north along Westgate Lane, south along West Bank Walk, or east into Axe Lane? Alright, let's go to Axe Lane, why not? This rubbish-strewn cobble street runs between rows of ramshackle, rot-infested houses and shops. The few inhabitants of Ragadorn that you see appear a cheerless lot, their faces haggard and drawn. They shuffle through the gloom, hunch against the pouring rain, their eyes fixed on the cobblestones at their feet.
What a scene, man.
Yar, I'm the pirate! Then you reach a junction where Axe Lane bends toward the north, and another street heads off toward the east. Do we continue north and enter Black Knight Street, or go east and enter Sage Street? Alright, let's go east, why not? The street seems dirtier and smellier than the one you have just been down. The cluttered window of a shop to your left catches your attention. In the window are many useful... Oh. Yeah. Victory! Oh yeah, didn't have time to take the screenshot, but hey, it's been captured on stream just fine, so everything's fine. Equip rods, MP 10%, Omega badge. Yeah, Omega was so scared of the weapons. Oh my goodness. 21 hour 31, final playtime of the session of Fiesta. Alright, at that point, I just wonder, is there like background music that will be like, I don't know, of medieval feeling so that we can continue this without... you know, the rigmarole and stuff, or do I just, yeah, alright, whatever. We're just gonna put our good old playlist. Not the most fitting music, but hey. I feel this is good shopping music, actually. So, alright, weapons for sale. Can buy a sword for 4 gold crown, dagger for 2 gold crown, short sword, warhammer, ka-chink, ka-chink, spear, mace, fur blanket, and backpack. So yeah, I know at this point warhammer is a no-brainer. I'm not even gonna ask anyone to argue against it. Yeah, there we go. We're back at 21 ability. Perfect. But hey, at this point, do we get a fur blanket or is just bleh? All right, fur blanket. Why not? All right, let's buy this. Fur blanket. Alright, when you've completed your purchases, you continue your way along Sage Street toward the Ragadorn Bridge. The bridge is the only connection between the east and west side of the port, and you push your way through the crowds of people and cars. You find yourself in a rubbish-strewn thoroughfare known as East Trade Lane. You are standing opposite a large building with a sign on the wall, Ragadorn Stable and Coach Station. A green-clad coachman is sitting next to a notice board that reads Port Backs. Journey time, 7 days. Do we wish to at this point, yeah, we wish to approach the coachman in order to buy a ticket. Alright. The fare to Port Backs is 20 gold crowns, says the coachman in a gruff Ragadornian accent. Alright, we have 20 gold crowns and wish to purchase a ticket. Alright. My money, oh no. Alright, you pocket the ticket, mark this as a special item on your action chart. Alright. And the man takes you to a coach that is waiting near the east side of the seaport. It is empty and you take a seat near one of its circular windows. You are relieved to find that the seat is quite comfortable, but the journey to Port Backs will take 7 days. Stowing your equipment beneath the seat, you settle back in comfort and doze off. When you awake, there are 5 other passengers, and the journey to Duranor has already begun. Alright, pick a number from the random table. Alright, 8. After only half an hour, the coach is stopped by some armed horsemen. They wear the black ship and red crest emblem of Lachlan, the Overlord of Ragadorn. They demand gold in payment for what they call exit taxes. 1 crown from each passenger. The other travelers each place a crown on a small plate and hang it to you. Alright, if you can pay the tax, do so and the coach will be allowed to go on their way. Alright, fine. Freaking robbers. Alright. During the course of the afternoon's journey, you chat with your fellow travelers and learn about their backgrounds. Yep, there we go. The beautiful people we're sailing with. Ganon, Dorier, Halvork, Parzian, Vivica. Sitting opposite are 2 brothers named Darian, Ganon, and Dorier. They are knights in the Order of the White Mountain, warrior lords of Duranor who have pledged allegiance to protect the country from raids by the bandits of the Wildlands. They own a castle and land near Port Backs. Next to them sits Halvork, the merchant. His nose is swollen and his face is badly bruised thanks to Lachlan, the Overlord of Ragadorn. A little misunderstanding about port taxes lost him his cargo and most of his gold. Seated by the far door is a priest named Parzian. Like you, he's a Sumlending who has journeyed across the wildlands by coach on his way to Port Backs. Beside you sits a young woman called Viveka. She's a mercenary adventuress who earns her gold by fighting for it and sells her service to the highest bidder. She's returning to Port Backs after collecting a payment for a successful adventure in Ragadorn. Not wishing to reveal your true identity, you've pretended to be a simple peasant. The travelers seem unaware of the war that now rages in Summerland.
What a scene, man. Hooey.
I've fallen on hard time, oink. I mean, he's not the worst looking. He could be Alfork. Alright, at dusk, the coach stops at an inn on the coast road to Port Backs. The cost of a room for the night is 1 gold crown for coach passengers and 3 gold crowns for anyone else. As you're about to enter, the coach driver demands to see your ticket. Alright, we have a ticket. The driver nods and hands you back the ticket. The inn is warm but poorly furnished. You must eat a meal here, which will cost you 1 gold crown unless you have a meal in your backpack. Alright, do we eat a meal from our backpack or do we pay $1 in order to just buy a meal? Alright, let's spend money at this point. We're going all in, we're the big spender. Yeah, the Kai discipline of hunting cannot be used when instructed to eat a meal on your journey through the wild land, as it is a barren wasteland inhabited only by creatures called Xals, a weak and cowardly breed of Gyak. Alright, we can afford 1 gold crown for the room? Yes, we can. Alright, let's spend even more money. You sleep deeply without being disturbed before rising at dawn, gathering your equipment and joining the others as they board the coach. For 2 days and night, the coach follows the trade route.
Looks like you've been subscribed for a while.
Thank you, Seraphicat, for the sub. Thank you very much. Yep, you're welcome. I was looking for something to do while we were killing Omega, and hey, we might as well continue. Why not?
Book series.
Because, hey, people seem to be digging it so far. For 2 days and night, the coach follows the trade route across the flat, treeless wildlands. It stops only to allow the driver to sleep. But on the morning of the 9th day of your quest, there's an unfortunate accident. Alright. Alright, 5 to 9. One of the wheels jam in a deep rut and 3 of the large wooden spokes are shattered. You are forced to stop and replace the wheel before you can continue to port backs. You volunteer to help the driver by levering the coach axle with a small tree trunk so that the spare wheel can be slid into position. You are pushing down on the stout branch with all your strength when the horses suddenly rear up and race forward. The trunk springs back and catches you square in the face, knocking you backwards to the ground. You're stunned and you lose 2 HP. Whoops. Got fucked up by a thing. The driver is not so lucky. The coach has run over him. As the poor man dies in your arm, his last words are, "No accident. I saw." You don't have 6 cents, so yep, whatever. Slowly, one by one, the other travelers appear and stare in shock at the dead coachman. "We must bury him," says the priest. You silently nod your agreement and prepare a grave in which to lay the corpse. As you all walk back to the coach, you discuss what should be done. "I know the road to Port Backs. I had better drive the coach," volunteers Alvor. "I do hope we're not blamed for his death," says the priest nervously. "It was an act of the god," says Dorier. "I shall testify to that," says Ganon. "Lies are never spoken by knights of the White Mountain." It is true that in Duranor, a true knight will speak only the truth, whether for his own good or ill. His words seem to reassure the priest, and you are all soon once more on the road, heading toward the eastern horizon. It is late in the afternoon when you arrive at a coach station, in a small coastal village known as Gorn Cove, which is mainly populated by outcasts, thieves, and Zal. The death of the coachman is met by the villagers with great suspicion, but Dorier's word convinced them that it was accidental. There is only one inn at the village, a tavern known as the Forlorn Hope. Its state of disrepair is typical of all the other hovels in this poor sea village. A room for the night costs 1 gold crown. Alright. Jeez, we had all the money in the world and now we got none. At the very least, we're back to tip-top shape. The innkeeper is a thin old man with only one eye. He hands you a key and points to a balcony opposite. "Number 2, the Red Door," he says. The other traveler each pay their 1 crown, collect the key, and make their way across the crowded tavern floor toward the stairs. "We must make plans for tomorrow," says Dorier. The others all nod in agreement. I suggest we meet here in the bar in 1 hour to decide what to do. As you close the red door of your room, for some unknown reason, you recall the words of Captain Kelman when you left Holmgard Harbor. There is heavy treachery at work, and the enemy already has plan afoot to thwart your quest. An hour is nearly past when your thoughts are disturbed by a knock at the door. It is the innkeeper, and he's carrying a tray of hot food. "With the compliments of one of your friends," he says, and leaves before you can ask which one. You've not eaten today and the food smells most appetizing. Okay, we don't have hunting, so do we heat the hot meal? Or if we don't, well, we must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Alright, eat a ration. Don't eat it. Okay, I think so far that everyone is saying eat a meal. One hot meal made by Mom. Mom of the beach of trees. Although the delicious smell of the food is making your mouth water, you suspect that something is very wrong. You set the tray down by the door. Your hunger has made you tired. We're not hungry, we just ate something. And you decide to take a short nap before meeting the others in the bar. When you awake, you see the bodies of 2 dead rats lying beside the food tray. They've been poisoned. The shock soon turns to anger when you realize that the poison was in the food. The poison was in the food intended for you. Grab your equipment and leave the room, intent on discovering your would-be assassin. By the time you reach the bar, the others are all seated at a large table awaiting your appearance. Drawing closer to the table, you realize you have found your would-be assassin. You will have to attack without giving any warning to your enemy, so study your fellow travelers carefully and then make your decision. Alright, do we attack Dorier? Do we attack Alvork, Viveka, Parsian, or Ganon? So which one of these 5 people over here is the traitor? Alright, 1 vote for Ganon, 1 for Parsian. Ganon is always evil. Alright, any other input? Okay, I guess not. Alright, let's attack Ganon. Ganon rolls away from his chair and draws his sword. An instant later, his brother Dorier is by his side. You must fight them both as one enemy. So yeah, there we go. 28 is combat skill and 30 endurance. Oh boy, we are totally fucked. So yeah, due to the surprise of your attack, add 2 points to your combat skill, but only for the first round. So yeah, 23. So first round is -7. After that, it's gonna drop to -5, and afterward it'll be -7. Yeah, he's a... Okay, right at that point, it's time for combat. Wish us good luck. This might not end well. Oh, 9! Alright, -5. They take 9 damage and we take none. Alright. But now, things are getting nasty. Oh yeah. Ouch. 2. No damage to them, 7 damage to us. Okay, 8. 6 damage to them, 3 to us. Okay, 6. Alright, 4 damage to them, 5 damage to us. Wait, where's Where's my table? Alright, there it is. 4, ouch. Yeah, I predict a restart. 2 damage to them, 6 to us. One, oh my god. 7 damage to us. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Next time, think about your approach better. So, alright, decision time. Do you still think that attacking Darien and Ganon is a good idea, or do we try and go for someone else? Alright, let's try someone else. That seems like a very good idea now. Yeah, let's bully somebody squishier. Alright. So, who do we go now? Clearly the knights are out of question. So, do we attack the merchant Alvork, aka Mr. Ugly Face, the adventuress, or the priest? Alright. 4 votes for priest. Alright, let's go for priest. The priest does not seem to be surprised by your attack, and he draws a black sword from beneath his robes. Alright, let's do this. This is definitely more up to our level. So, 16 ability, ration. There we go. 23 against 22 HP. Oh, nice. Alright, we're off to a strong start. 8, 14 damage to our enemy and no damage to us. And 6 damage. Well, not 6 damage, but 6. 5, 6. Okay, 11 damage to him, and okay, he's dead. He's dead, Jim. At this point, I'm not even reducing the HP because we'll get it back on the next chapter anyway. Alright, we won the combat. Searching the body, you discover all you need to prove that he was the assassin. Inside his pocket, you find a half-empty vial of Gnadrum sap, the deadly poison that was used to taint your food. Then there's a scroll written in Gyak, giving details of your expected arrival and port backs. He must have located you at Ragadorn and hatched his murder plans there. You notice that the weapon he carries is a Dark Lord blade, fashioned of black steel and forged in the furnaces of Hel'Jedad, the infernal city of the Dark Lords beyond the Durncrag range. Only there in all of vast Magnamon can black steel be made. But the final proof of his true identity is the serpent tattoo on his left wrist. The harbor thugs who attempted to kill you before you had even left Holmgard bore exactly the same mark. And there we go, and his purse contained 23 gold crowns. So yay, at least we're back on our feet money-wise. Yep, the priest was the traitor. There is definitely a bunch of clues that are laid along the way. I'd say the most decisive one is whenever you first meet him, he says he's a Sumlending who's making his way toward Port Bax, but then in the thing they said nobody knew about the war that was raging in Summerlawn. So you'd think that a native of the place will know what's going on. And also, the priest was the only one who seemed worried about the driver being killed. The other travelers stare with horror and disbelief at what you have done. Before you can explain yourself, there's a loud crash as the front door is thrown open. In rush 6 armored soldiers led by the Innkeeper. They are the town's guard, and the one-eyed Innkeeper is screaming at them to arrest you. Alright, do we want to fight 6 guardmen, or do we leave? Alright, escape, run, fight, escape. Alright, let's flee. Although night has fallen, a full moon casts a bright light upon the village. Behind the tavern, you see a small wheelwright shop with 2 horses hitched to a hay cart. Do we have camouflage? No, we don't. Do we just take a horse and escape, or do we hide in the wheelwright shop? Alright, horse time. You spur the horse along the twisting village street, across a wooden bridge, and up a steep path toward the crest of the cove. In the light of the moon, you catch a glimpse of a signpost pointing eastward. Portback's 50 miles. You ride all night without sleep. As the dawn breaks, you are greeted by a startling change of landscape. The barren wildlands have given way to moors and waterlogged fens, and the dark shadow runs the length of the eastern horizon for as far as the eye can see. This is the Duranor Forest, the natural frontier of the Mountain Kingdom where it borders the untamed wildlands. It is indeed a welcome sight. You are no more than a day's ride from Portbacks, but you're tired after your night ride and you must eat a meal or lose 3 insurance points. Sorry, we don't have any meals. Time to starve. But yeah, if you have the Kai discipline of hunting, you may use the skill to trap a wild moor rat or marsh bird for your breakfast. Yeah, now we're again into wildlife land that we can hunt for food. After an hour's ride, you come to a fork in the road. There's no signpost. Do we go left or right? I mean, you're asking how big is the highland. I mean, hold on, let's show the map. Yeah, here's what the landmass looks like. Right now, I'd say we're about there, I'd say. I don't know, wait, we're not at Portbacks. We're probably more like here. Like, hold on. Oh yeah, Gorn Cove. Sadly, you can see it, but yeah, Gorn Cove is a little village there. So yeah, everyone wants us to go right, so let's go there. Why not? After a few miles, the track becomes tangled and overgrown until all trace of it has completely disappeared. The ride becomes slow and difficult as you strain to avoid the bugs and potholes of this moor. After several hours, you reach the edge of Duranor Forest, and above the ferns, you notice a tall watchtower. A spiral of smoke rises lazily from a hidden chimney. Alright, we got tracking, let's use it. Your Kai sense reveals that there are no tracks in this part of the Duranor Forest, but it does tell you the correct direction to Portbacks. However, the forest that lies before you is so dense that you will have to abandon your horse at the watchtower before you can continue. So, do we press on or do we investigate the watchtower? Okay, investigate. Alright, the area around the watchtower... Oh, yeah, that's right, hold on. At this point, we definitely got our HP back. Our power of healing just gives us, you know, the ability to cure hunger. The area around the watchtower door has been cleared of foliage, and the ground is well trodden. You are looking for a lock or keyhole in the ironclad door where it suddenly opened. Standing before you is a knight of the White Mountain, a broadsword held in front of his face. State your purpose and mark your words well. My steel will be my answer if you lie. Alright, do we tell him the truth, do we lie, or do we attack him? Okay, don't lie. Okay, the knight sheathes his broadsword and ushers you inside the tower. You follow him to a large room at the top of a flight of stone steps where a log fire blazes warmly. If you are who you claim to be, you must be in possession of the seal of Hammerdal. Show it to me. Do we show him the seal or not? Okay, show it. His look of suspicion changes to one of surprise. I believed you to be a trickster, Kai Lord. I must confess that I had planned to teach you a lesson you will not have forgotten in a lifetime. Please forgive my doubt, but your story sounded so grave that I refused to believe it for fear of it to be true. Whoops. I am sworn to the defense of the border, and I cannot leave this tower, but I offer you any of my possession if they may aid you on your quest. Places the following items on a large oak table and invites you to take your choice. A broadsword, a mace, a quarterstaff, a healing potion, enough food for 3 meals, a 12 and 12 gold. Alright. This music is from Lemmings for the PSP. I mean, we can take whatever we want here. So, at that point, yeah, alright. Let's go with meal. Yeah, there we go. 3 meals. We might as well take the healing potion as well. And let's take the money. Alright. Yeah, there we go. Now we're all equipped and ready to go. Yeah, we can take whatever we want in there. Well, I want to help you, but I'll give you only one thing. I really need those 12 gold crowns, you see. As you're about to leave the tower, he points out the direction you should take. When you reach the Rime Rift, take the track northwards. You will come to a bridge guarded by the King's men. When they ask for the password, answer them with the word sunset. The road beyond the Rime Rift leads to Portbacks. Godspeed, Lone Wolf. Thank the brave warrior and leave. You must abandon your horse at the watchtower, for it will be impossible to pass through the dense tree on horseback. Okay, you push on through the dense forest for nearly 3 hours before you discover a track heading north, running parallel to the Rime Rift, whose rushing waters are over 1 mile deep. In the distance, you spot a bridge that spans the dark water at the narrow point. A small hut with a flat roof has been erected in the center, on top of which stand 2 soldiers. A sign point across the bridge, Portbacks. Alright, we got tracking. Your sense reveal that the path is a dead end. The only way that you can cross the Rime Rift and reach Portbacks is via the bridge. The soldiers quickly descend from the roof of the hut and grab their spears. They advance toward you and one of them shouts, "Password, stranger!" Alright, we know the password. The guards reluctantly lower their weapons and allow you to cross the bridge. As you slip past, they stare at you and whisper to each other. Once you are safely across the Rime Rift, you quickly hurry on your way in case they change their minds and arrest you. After nearly an hour of walking along the forest road, you arrive at a junction where a signpost points to the east. Portbacks, 3 mile. You smile and set off eastward. You should be there in just under an hour. There we go. At dusk on the 10th day of your quest, you experience your first sight of the magnificent city of Portbacks. Like a diamond set in the green velvet shore, the towers of the city glimmer in the pale light of a waxing room. To the north is the harbor and the formidable war fleet of the Duranese Navy. To the east, beyond the moss-covered city wall, stretches the forest of Duranor. And there, on the crest of a hill, stands a castle tall and proud, the crowning glory of this beautiful port. You enter Portbacks through an unguarded gate in the green city hall, and make your way through the darkening street toward the harbor. As you turn into a tree-lined avenue, you notice the white stone step of a dome building to your right. You stop to read the brass plaque, City Hall. Despite the late hours, the main doors are open. Alright, we got tracking. Try to remember some of the stories told to you by an old Kai master called Wise Hawk. He was envoyed to Portbacks for many years, and he knew and loved the city as well as any native Duranese. You recall him saying that the consulate overlooked Alid Square in the naval quadrant of the city. There's a sign to your left pointing along the avenue. Naval quadrant, half a mile. Certain this is the right direction, you walk confidently along the tree-lined avenue. At the end of the avenue, the cobble street turns abruptly to the right. Opposite this point is a tall, white stone building with a plaque above the door. You can see that the cobble street ends at a high stone wall. There is a large red gate in this wall and is guarded by 2 soldiers. Yeah, authority. Beyond the gate, you can make out the massive ship moored in the harbor. If you wish to enter the port watchtower or approach the red gate. Alright. Watchtowers are popular nowadays. You are standing in a large empty hall. Opposite are two doors, each with a brass sign above them. Do we go in the door marked white passes, red passes, or do we leave and go visit the guards instead? Okay, red passes. Anything else? Okay, red passes win. You enter a large room full of ledgers and files. A man wearing the uniform of a Duranese naval officer is seated opposite of a large desk. He peers at you inquisitively from behind a huge book and says, "You must have pressing business in the naval quadrant to apply for a red pass at this late hour. I shall need to see your access paper and proof of your commanding officer's authorization." So, alright, have we collected the necessary document? No. So, alright, we're gonna have to risk showing him the seal of Amerdal. The man stares at the seal with a look of shocked dismay. Without saying a word, he gets up from his chair and beckons you to follow him a flight of spiral stairs that lead to a domed chamber. Here, you meet the captain of the port watch. He listens intently as you tell of the war in Summerlund and of your urgent mission. Issue a red pass immediately! Top priority! You collect your red pass, leave the port watchtower, and hurry along the street toward the harbor guards. Alright. Alright, red pass. Okay, we have a red pass. Oh, yeah, that's right. One of the guards steps forward and demands to see your pass. Red pass. The soldier salutes and allows you to pass through the red gate. You walk into an open square lit by tall beacons lining the quayside. To your relief, you sight the marble pillars of the Summerlund Consultate and the familiar sun flag of your country flying above it in the fresh night breeze. As you climb the stone steps, you are recognized by the Sumlending guards on duty at the main door. They disappear inside and quickly return in the company of a tall, gray-haired official. His anguished expression suddenly changed to a smile of joy as he beholds your ragkai cloak and tunic. Hope beyond hope! Thank the god that you live, Kai Lord! The skin news that have reached us from the west have caused us great alarm. You are ushered inside and taken immediately to the envoy of Summerlund, Lord Lieutenant Ragadorn. The first meeting with the Lord Lieutenant comes as something of a shock. You had perhaps half expected him to be a servile old man, as are the envoys of the southern lands that plague your king's court with their delegation. The man clad in heavy chainmail standing before you is neither old nor servile. You are soon to learn that Lord Lieutenant Ragadorn is an exceptional man. Born of a Sumlending father and a Duranese mother, he has become something of a legend in this city. In the last decade, he has led an alliance of the nation to victory against the invading highest barbarian of Kalt. Wise in peace, fierce in war, you could not have wished for better company on your quest for the Summer Sword. Ragadorn orders that a sumptuous meal be served. It is by far the best food you have tasted since the war began. During the feast, you recall the events that have brought you to Portbacks and reflect on the daunting challenge that still lies before you. After the meal, Ragadorn sends for his physician who attends to your wound. His potions restore 6 endurance points. Now we don't need them. Then he advises you to sleep, for you are to leave with the Lord Lieutenant for Hammerdall in the morning. Okay. If you do not have a backpack, you may choose to assume here that you are outfitted with one. Sorry, we still have a backpack. Early next day, you are taken to an enclosed garden at the rear of the consultate where Ragadorn and 3 of his best soldiers await you on horseback. They are to be your bodyguard and guides on the 230-mile ride back to Hammerdall. The streets of Port Baxter are just beginning to come to life as you ride through the town. Passing under the moss-covered city gate, you now feel confident that your mission will succeed. Alright, that's it. Time to pick a number. 7. For 3 days and nights, you followed the highway to the capital as it runs parallels to the river Duranon. The river valley is a wide belt of rich, cultivated land that climbs toward the Hammerdall Mountain, one of the highest ranges in all of Magnamond. It is on the morning of the 14th day of your quest when 6 cloakmen appear at the edge of your camp. Lord Lieutenant Rygar is the first to draw his sword. With a voice of authority, demand an explanation for their intrusion. In reply, they unsheath black swords. Rygar shouts to his men to prepare for combat as the cloaked strangers advance toward you. Alright, we don't have 6th sense, so do we draw our weapon and fight, or we can evade by running in the woods before combat begins? Oh yeah, page 69. Nice! Alright, fight! One of the cloaked strangers remove a black staff from beneath his robes and hold it aloft. A blue flame ignites at the twisted iron tip and a searing blast of energy leaps toward you. There is a deafening crack as the bolt is turned away by Rygar's shield. "Give no quarter!" cries the Lord Lieutenant as he attacks the cloaked staff bearer. His sword slice clings to the robe stranger, but he remains unarmed. You suddenly realize why he does not bleed. He and his sinister companions are Hellgast, fell captains of the Dark Lord. They have the ability to adopt human form, but are invulnerable to normal weapons. The Hellgast lets out a hideous scream that tears at your mind. Blinded by the sudden pain, you trip and fall into the dense undergrowth of the wooded hillside. Unless we have Mind Shield, we lose 2 HP. Alright, we have Mind Shield. It finally does something. You come to rest face downward in a tangle of thick bracken. The ringing of steel and the horrible cries of the Hellgast echo through the trees around you. You are stunned and cannot move until a hand grabs your arm and pulls you upright. It is Rygar. His face is bloodied and his armor is battered and charred. "We must flee these demons, Lone Wolf. Strength and steel will not avail us here." You've glimpsed the silhouette of 6 Hellgast on the forest road above, their minds bent on the slaughter of Rygar's men. They fail to see you both slip away under cover of the wooded hillside. For 6 hours, you run without rest. The Hellgast are on the highway and you are forced to make your way through the steep and wooded foothills to avoid the risk of capture. Many times you feel you just cannot go on, that the pain and the fatigue are too much to bear. But each time you falter, you are spurred on by Rygar. You marvel at his entrance, for he is not a young man, and he is clothed in the heavy armor of a Sumlending knight. By nightfall, you have reached the entrance to Tarnalin, the western tunnel through the Hammerdall Mountain. The 3 tunnels of Duranor were excavated during the age of the Black Moon, and each tunnel is over 40 miles long and passes through the huge circle of the Hammerdall Range to the capital. The tunnels provide the only access to the city. Rygar sits beside you and takes some bread and meat from his pack. "Eat this, Lone Wolf. You must sustain your strength for this journey to Hammerdall, for from here you must venture alone through the Tarnalin. I shall remain here and hold the enemy back for as long as I have the strength to fight. Do not argue that your mission should succeed if the only thing that matters." But yeah, if Rygar is to hold off the Hellgast, he will need a magic weapon, as his own sword is of no use against the creatures. Alright, if you wish to give him your magic spear so that he can defend the tunnel entrance, or we don't have a magic spear. Alright, let's go there. You bid Rygar farewell and enter Tarnalin. We actually just quick leaked Omega. At this point, we're just wrapping this book up, because why not? You bid Rygar farewell and enter Tarnalin. Over 100 feet in height and width, the tunnel runs to the capital on the far side of the Hammerdall Range. highway through the mountain is usually alive with the traffic of merchant to and from portbacks. Yet now the entrance and interior are deserted except for an overturned fruit wagon. As you walk deeper into Tarnalin, a doubt nags at you. Have the Hellcast arrived here first? I mean, have fun with your boring sword, jackass. It's not as if we had anything else to give him. We only have a warhammer, and it won't work either. You've been walking for half an hour when you see a strange creature on top of a wagon in the road ahead. It is 2 feet high and resembles an overgrown marsh rat. You assume it is some sort of tunnel-dwelling rodent until you notice that it is wearing a splendid jacket of patched leather and carrying what appears to be a spear. As you get nearer, it suddenly turns to face you. Its whiskered nose is sniffing the air and its bright black eyes are peering into the gloom. It sees you and scampers off into the darkness of a smaller tunnel to your left. Here's the rodent. So it's just leaving... Yeah, what are all of these half-eaten apple? What the heck? So, alright, we've got animal kinship, whoops. You recognize the creature to be a Nudnik, an intelligent but mischievous mountain-dwelling native of Duranord. The Nudniks inhabit a maze of smaller shafts and fissures that honeycomb the Amerdal Mountain. Tame fish and live off whatever they can steal from the merchant caravan that travel to Tarnalin. It occurs to you that if you can catch the Nudnik, you may be able to learn if the Hellcast are hiding within the tunnel. Do we follow it or do we just let it go and continue? Yeah, that sounds about right. Chase the furry creature as it hurries along a narrow, twisting passage for nearly 10 minutes and are about to give up the chase when the passage opens out into a huge torch-lit cavern. A stunning sight greets your eye. The cavern houses an entire colony of these strange creatures, all busy sorting through and examining a vast pile of strange objects littering the center of the hall. Alright, we've got animal kinship. A large Nudnik, wearing a brightly colored cloak of patchwork silks, orders several of his people to harm themselves and drive you out of the hall. When you speak to them in their own language, a hush of astonishment fills the cavern. Never before have they encountered a human being who could actually speak their tongue. For some of them it is too much to grasp, and they just stare at you open-mouthed, their furry little arms hanging loosely by their side. Then the large Nudnik addresses you, saying he's the leader of this colony. His name is Gashgis, and he welcomes you and invites you to join him on top of a raised platform in the center of the chamber. Yep, there he is. Use not... No, hold on a second. Use not Duranese manmani! Where's our news comes from, eh? Questioned Gegius in a strange Nudnik accent. You tell him that you're sumlending on your way to Hammerdall. He looks at you nervously and then asks, "You's not a black screamers, eh?" You realize that the black screamers that Gashgis refers to are Hellcast. You learn that 2 of them arrived in Tarnalin over 2 hours ago and caused quite a panic in the main tunnel. Gashgis knows where they are lying in ambush, waiting for you to appear. Is that sure you will sweep past them, eh? He offers. You nod your agreement and follow him down the step of the platform to the hall below. The Nudniks seem to have overcome their shock and react to you as if you were one of them. Before you leave, a pretty female Nudniks offer you some food for your journey ahead. There's enough for 2 meals. Ah, thank you. How kind. Alright. At this point, we're just a food truck in the making. Like, at some point, we might have to actually make place for stuff other than meals. Thank her for your generosity and then follow Gashgis along one of the many passages leading out of the cavern. After an hour of trekking through the dark, he stops and points toward a shaft of light that is pouring through a crevice in the far distance. Use goes left! Use be safe! He says. You thank Gashgis for his help.
What a scene, man. Ooh-wee.
No. No. Thank you. You thank Gashgis for his help and silently thank your Kai masters who taught you the skill of animal kinship. The many years of instructions have probably saved your life. You squeeze through a fissure in the rock wall and drop 3 feet to the pathway below. You are thinking how kind the nutnicks were when you discovered that they have stolen all your gold. You have to mark this on your action chart. Oh no, we were dealing with kleptomaniacs. Alright, continue along the tunnel. You have covered nearly 3 miles when you see a group of wagons in the distance. They have been strung out across the highway to form a barricade. Soldiers in red uniforms line the roofs of the wagon, and a large crowd of people have gathered behind them. You can hear their excited chatter echoing along the tunnel. As you get closer, there's a sudden silence as all eyes turn to stare at you. A detachment of 10 soldiers, led by a knight whose shield bears the royal arms of Duranor, advances toward you. Do we attack the soldiers, or we raise our hands and walk toward them? Okay, don't attack. Raise hands, raise hands, raise hands. Alright, everyone loves living. Nice. Cautiously, the soldiers surround you and take your weapons and backpack. The knight steps forward and raises the visor of his helm. Who are you? What is your purpose in Tarnalin? He demands in a gruff voice. Tell him you're a Kai Lord from oh yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, there we go. The noble, kind Duranese man. You tell him that you're a Kai Lord from Summerland on an urgent mission to King Alin. He seems unconvinced by your word until you show him the seal of Amerdal. Then, without hesitation, he orders his men to return your belongings and ushers you to the wall of wagons. Beyond, you can see a horse-drawn carriage waiting in the center of the crowded tunnel. Back to Amerdal without delay! He orders the driver, and you are thrown back in your seat as the coach moves off at breakneck speed. You soon learn that the knight is Lord Axim of Rhyme, commander of King Alin's personal bodyguard. He was on his way to Portbacks when the Helghast entered Tarnalin. Yeah, Omega is dead. He and 10 soldiers were the only one to survive a deadly encounter with these evil creatures. During your ride through the Tarnalin, you must eat a meal or lose 3 endurance points. Okay, alright. I mean, I think we can definitely spare a meal at this point. The journey to the capital would take 5 hours, and you're advised by Lord Axim to get some rest. As you slowly drift off to sleep, you begin to dream about the Summer Sword. Picture a triumphant return to Holmgard and the defeat of the Dark Lord siege. Perhaps it will be a good omen of things to come. It is early morning on the 15th day of your quest when you open your eyes to the breathtaking spectacle of Hammerdal, the mountain city. The capital of Duranor, unlike other cities in the Last Lands, does not need man-made fortifications. The encircling peaks of the Hammerdal range offers a far more secure protection to the people within. Yeah, the King's Tower, a magnificent structure of glass and stone. That doesn't sound very solid. The carriage speeds through the lush farmland surrounding the city with its many towers and wide streets. On a hill at the very center of Hammerdal stands the King's Tower, a magnificent structure of glass and stone. As the carriage halts at the tower gate, you suddenly realize for the first time that as a wielder of the Summer Sword, your destiny is to become part of the oldest legend of the Last Lands. King Alin Fort sits alone in his domed tower, viewing his mountain domain through one of the many portals of tinted glass. You and Lord Axim are formally announced as you enter the chamber, and you respectfully bow to his majesty. Then, Lord Axim removes the seal of Amerdal from your finger and walks over to the king's side. There we go. We no longer need that item. For nearly an hour, they talk, their somber face reflecting the seriousness of the situation. There's a short pause of silent meditation, and King Elin suddenly rises from his throne and addresses you for the first time. Alice, the Dark Lords have woken once more, and once more the Summerlong come in search of our aid. I had prayed that my ring would be remembered as a time of peace and fulfillment, but in my heart, I knew it was to be otherwise. The king removes a golden key from the pocket of his white robe and inserts it in a marble die standing in the center of the chamber. A gentle humming fills the room as the stone cover slides back to reveal the hilt of a golden sword. Take the sword, Lone Wolf. It is foretold that only a true son of Summerlong can release the powers that lie within its blade. As you grasp the glowing hilt, a tingling sensation runs up your arm and radiates through your body. We don't have that. We don't have Sixth Sense, so let's turn. Alright. A strange power is coursing through your body. Instinctively, you raise the blade above your head, and a shaft of sunlight suddenly catches the edge of the sword and floods the king's chamber with a blinding white glow. But almost immediately, the light starts to fade, and you're aware of Lord Axim's hand upon your shoulder. Come, Lone Wolf. There is much to prepare you for your return to Summerlong. You sheath the summer sword, in its jewel scabbard and follow Lord Axim as he turns and leaves the king's chamber. The muster of the army and the preparation of the Duranese fleet takes 14 days to complete, during which time you remain as a guest to the king in Amerdal. As each day passes, you despair for your besieged countrymen of Olmgard and pray they have enough strength to resist the Dark Lord until you return. Every day of your reluctant exile, you devote long periods of exercise and meditation. You're also visited by a Duranese herb warden called Medin Rendelim, who is famous throughout the Last Lands for his knowledge and skill in the healing heart. He restores all of the endurance points you have lost so far, and he gives you a potent Loam Spur potion that will restore 5 points. Oh, alright. Loam Spur potion. Oops, poison, yeah. There we go. He's also the bearer of some sad news. The body of Lord Lieutenant Rygar was found in the forest near to the entrance to Tarnalin. He was killed by a hellgas. No shit. Alright, we don't have Sixth Sense. Yeah, much of your time at Amerdal is taken up by training with the Summer Sword. Day by day, your skill with the wondrous... Oh, that music is totally not apropos. Oh my god. Okay, this is better. But yeah, day by day, your skill with the wondrous blade improves, and as you progress, so you learn more of its marvelous properties. When you use the sword in combat, it will add 8 points to your combat skill total, and 10 points if we have weapon skill with any sword. It has the ability to absorb any magic used against you and doubles the total of all endurance points lost by undead enemies, aka Hellgast, during combat. You also come to realize it's the only weapon in all of Magnamon that can kill a Dark Lord. And for this reason above all others, the Dark Lords are bent on thwarting your quest. Alright, we need to add that to our good old list. Alright, 8. Yeah, we can use that and at that point. Yeah. Since we're replacing our Warhammer with this, that means we get 6 extra combat skill. There we go. We kick ass now. Hell yeah. It is early in the morning on the 33rd day of your quest when you ride into Port Bax with Lord Axim at your side. The preparation for war have been completed. The galleon of the Duranese war fleet lies at anchor in the harbor, impatiently awaiting the orders to set sail for Summerlong. On board each ship are many brave soldiers from the Mountain Kingdom, a tough army of skilled warriors, eager to face the Dark Lords in battle. Each man have sworn to avenge their besieged allies or die in the attempt. Now it's longer because compared to book number 1, this one is far more linear. So that's why it definitely feels longer. Alright, and you are to sail back to Homeguard aboard the flagship Duranor, a warship whose great curving prow and tall mast emphasize its sheer power and strength. You and Lord Axum are taken abroad and welcomed by Admiral Calfin, commander of the fleet, and then the fleet prepared to set sail. In less than an hour, the harbor lies far behind you. The dome of Port Bax are now merely dots on the horizon. Okay, and we roll a 3. For 3 days and nights, the mighty fleet of Duranor steers swiftly toward the home gulf, a strong wind filling the sails of the warship. But although the voyage is fast, the soldiers' confidence and eagerness for battle has slowly faded as if their will is being drained by some invisible vampire. Lord Axum is close to despair. This black mood that haunts our deck is the evil work of the Dark Lords. I know of their power to turn a man's mind, but the curse that befalls us is a sorcery we cannot even see to destroy. How I pray that this spell will end, for even if we arrive at our destination, I fear that we are too weak in mind to break our foe. As if in answer to his prayer, the black curse seemed to be lifted from the fleet with the dawning of the next day, but the spell is replaced by a threat far deadlier. A veil of sea fog has rolled across the still ocean from the broken spine of land known as the Kjörlunden Isle. Strange dark shapes hide within this mist. They are growing larger, and slowly the distinct outline of ships become plain. Prepare for battle! The Admiral's cries repeated along the many decks of the Duranese fleet. All hands on deck! As the black ships approach through the fog, a horrific sight befalls you. They are Deathhawk, sunken ships crewed by the living corpses of drowned sailors. They've been summoned to the surface by great wizardry, and they are closing for battle. Suddenly, the fog vanishes, and you can now see that the Deathhawks bar the entrance to the home gulf. The center of the line is their sinister flagship. Swiftly it sails toward you, a huge ram protruding from its black prow. As it trips its way through the hull of the Duranor, you hear the Admiral's last desperate order. Abandon ship! You are now in the thick of the enemy fleet and the Duranor is sinking fast. Do we jump on the deck of the Deathhawk flagship, or do we dive in the sea to try to swim to another Duranese ship? Alright, so far, fuck swimming. Let's jump. No, we're jumping on Joke Boat. That's what's happening. You land on the rotting timbers and crash straight to the land below, the deck below. You are unarmed by the fall, but the stench of decay that fills your nostril is overwhelming. You clamber up and unsheath the summer sword. 4 ghastly zombies stagger out of the gloom, their twisted hand extended toward your throat. You must fight them as one enemy. And yeah, they're undead creatures, so remember to double all endurance point that they lose. So, yep, welcome to your tutorial fight with the Summer Sword. And yeah, at this point, we're just gonna make fucking fury out of him. But yeah, 13 ability versus 14. So yeah, combat ratio is 14. Okay, alright. Let's see how it goes. 9! Alright. That was quick. So yeah, 11 or greater. If we roll a 9, the monster gets instant killed. So yeah, we didn't even need the Summer Sword to even help out with this. Alright, if you win the fight, ooh, I wonder if we could have won this. The stench of the ship is making you choke. You lose 1 endurance point. You must get out of this vile hold or you will suffocate. We don't have 6 cents, so we can't use this. So do we climb to the shattered deck, or we wish to leave the hole through a door in the far wall? All right, through the door. Through the door. 1 vote for climb. Let's see if there's any more votes. I guess that's it. Let's go through the door. The door bursts open and in rushes an Elgas. Its black sword raised. You strike the creature as it enters the hold and open a terrible gash in its chest. Lets out a hideous cry, but although badly wounded, it leaps forward to attack you. You must fight this creature to the death. An undead creature, double all endurance point that it loses, immune to a mind blast. Alright, this time we're fighting a worthier adversary, but with that said, we're still very well, oh no, not 30, 20, my bad. At that point, OBS. Okay, 5. And our combat ratio is 5. So, okay, we take 2 damage, and he takes 10 damage multiplied by 2. So, instant kill. Alright. Oops, I probably should switch scenes again. You make your way up a flight of stairs and onto the crowded deck. Fierce battle rages all around you as the Duranese fleet is engulfed by the rush of ghostly Death Hulk. Suddenly, a flash of searing flames shoots from a tower the rear of the Death Hulk you're on and explodes into the side of a Duranese warship less than 50 yards away. You watch with horror as soldiers leap from the deck, their clothes and hair in flame. Alright, do we investigate the tower or do we jump overboard from the ship? Alright, investigate. Into the tower! 2 zombies try to block your passage, but you cleave them with the summer sword. You cleave them in half with 1 sweep of the summer sword. You are at the foot of the tower and you can now see a hunchback man in crimson robes above you. He wears a tall, curved tuckmore, a magician's headdress. It bears the emblem of a serpent, and his right hand is a black staff. We've never been given a crystal star pendant, but we have tracking, however. Keen sight you have developed through your Kai discipline of tracking have enabled you to identify the talisman that sits on top of the black staff. It is the crescent and crystal star emblem of the Magician Guild of Toran in Northern Summerlund. This man is a renegade of the guild and a traitor to your country. Do we wish to climb in the tower to attack the treacherous magician, or jump overboard? Alright, death to all traitors. The climb is very difficult, for you only have 1 free hand, the other holds the glowing hilt of the summer sword. You eventually reach the rim of the tower and quickly hook a leg over the narrow ledge. You're about to jump into the tower and attack when a tin voice makes you freeze. How shall I delight in the irony of your death, lone wolf? The sorcerer is standing in the far corner of the tower, his left hand pointing at your head. Your quest has failed, lone wolf. Now you must die! A blinding flash of orange flame shoots from his hand toward your face. In a fraction of a second, the searing burst of flame changes direction in midair and is drawn toward the blade of the summer sword. The bolt of energy disappears into the golden blade like water into a drain. You remember that the summer sword has the power to absorb magic. This power will save you from a certain death. The sorcerer curses you, pulls a jewel from his ornate tuckmore, and throws it at your feet. There's a flash of flame and a cloud of choking green gas billows up in your face, filling your nostril with its acidic smell. You're forced to jump to the deck below to avoid the poisonous gas, and you just catch a glimpse of the sorcerer as he frantically paddles a small boat away from the Deathhawk flagship. Do we want to dive in the sea and swim after him, or do we just fight our way to a Duranese warship? Alright, fight our way back.
What a scene!
Sorcerer donated $1. Fuck you. Okay, alright. 1 vote for fighting and 1 vote for following. Oh, 2 votes for following. Alright, why not? Let's follow. That could be fun. Blinking the foul water from your eyes, you can see that the flagship of the Deathhawk fleet is now ablaze. Black smoke is pouring from the deck, and tongues of orange and yellow flame flicker from its rotten black hull. Suddenly, you're aware of the beating of wings directly above you. You are shocked to see a crane hovering above, trying to grab at you with its sharp claw. Its hooked talons catches your cloak, and suddenly you're snatched up into the air. But it is to be a short flight. You draw the summer sword and sink it in the soft belly of the creature. With a shriek of agony, it releases its grip and you fall. You pray that luck will be on your side and that you will land safely. Luck is with you, for you land safely on the deck of the Kalkarm, a Duranese warship. The soldiers here have been involved in a desperate battle, but have fought off the enemy and are cutting the grappling ropes that hold the ship to a Deathhawk. From out of the smoke strides Lord Axim, his face bloodied and his shield badly scarred. Thank the god you're alive, Lone Wolf. The fight has been bitter and our losses are high, but I'm heartened indeed to see you standing before me now, he says and leads you to the ship's rail. Look yonder, their flagship is ablaze. Through the fog of war, you can see that the huge Deathhawk is slowly sinking beneath a plume of dense black smoke. The Kalkarm is eventually freed and slowly it maneuvers out of the tangle of wreckage. The wind begins to steer, filling its tattered sail and carrying away the smoke of battle. Lord Axim orders the royal arms of Duranor to be hoisted aloft so that the other ships can rally to the Kalkarm. For the first time since the battle began, you can now see the other Duranese ships. It is an amazing sight, for as the enemy flagship sinks beneath the wave, so every Deathhawk on the horizon returns to its watery grave. Their sorcery is broken. We have won this battle, says Lord Axim. And within a few minutes, not one of the Deathhawks remain afloat. 70 Duranese warships left port backs, but only 50 now enter the home Gulf. The battle have claimed many brave men, including Admiral Calfin, Rip, the guy we saw in one chapter, who died aboard the flagship Duranor, the first ship to be sunk. But despite the heavy loss, a great victory has been won. A victory which inspired Duranese soldiers with new strength so that the past ordeal of both the voyage and the battle are now forgotten. As their optimism and determination return, all are eager to reach Homeguard and raise the siege. It is dusk, on the 37th day of your quest, when you sight the spires of Homeguard on the horizon. The city still stands defiantly against the army of Dark Lord, although constantly under siege. Flickering in the darkness, you can see the small fires which burn throughout the capital. The confident Lord Axim joins you at the prow. The moonless sky will hate us this night. We shall enter the harbor unseen. Come the dawn, my men will scatter the wretched foe like dead leaves upon the wind of a storm. As you enter Homeguard Harbor at the head of the Duranese fleet, you unsheath the summer sword and prepare to fulfill your destiny. Homeguard has suffered much since your departure. Many of the shops and houses you remember passing on your way to the quay are little more than heaps of ashes. The Dark Lord army with their evil engines of war surrounds the wall, and the flaming arcs of fireballs shooting through the air continually light the night sky as they rain down on the streets below. The people fight the fire as best they can, but they are hungry and exhausted, and close to surrender. At first, as it enters the harbor, the fleet is mistaken for the enemy and cries of despair can be heard all along the quay. But as the first of the soldiers set foot in the city and unfurls the royal arms of Duranor, the news of your return spread quickly. The cries of despair had changed to a chorus of cheers. The Kai Lord has returned! You are standing at the top of the Great Watchtower, high above the main gate of the city when the first light of dawn creeps slowly over the horizon. Thousand upon thousand of the black-clad enemy are massed around the city wall, huddled like beetles in the trenches that cover the plain. In the midst of this horde, a great red tent has been erected bearing the symbol of a broken skull. It is the mark of Zagarno, Lord of Kag, a Dark Lord of Helgedad. His great ambition is the destruction of Olmgard. His fiercest desire to lead his army to victory over the House of Ulnar and claim Summerlund for his own. But victory is not to be his this day. Raising the summer sword high above your head, a shaft of dawn sunlight catches upon the tip of the golden sword, and a brilliant flash of lightning white flame runs the entire length of the blade. The power of the summer sword electrifies you. Your senses reel, and now your body reacts instinctively. You lower the summer sword and point the blade toward the tent of Lord Zagarna. There's a mighty roar as the power of the sun sword is unleashed in a searing white beam. The tent explodes in a brilliant fireball of white flame mushrooms skyward. A long and terrible cry rends the air. It is Lord Zagarna. The leader of the evil army is no more. Yeah, there we go. That's the guy dying here. Grip with fear. Wait, did it even? Oh, fuck. We can't see the whole picture. Oh no. I need to figure out a better way to do this. Grip with fear and panic, the vast black army rise up and run in chaos from the city wall. The impossible has happened. Their invincible master is slain. Again, the summer sword has returned to defeat them. The army and the allies of Duranor ride out of the city gate in pursuit of the panic-stricken enemy as they run blindly toward the Durncrag mountain. The victory is yours. Holmgard is safe, and the murder of the Kai has finally been avenged. But for you, Lone Wolf, a life of high adventure has only just begun. A new challenge awaits you and the Summer Sword in Book 3 of the Lone Wolf series. The Caverns of Khalt. So yeah, we might as well establish this right out of the gate if we decide to continue. Which discipline are we gonna learn for book number 3 if we are actually going back to this? But yeah, we're still missing Camouflage, Hunting, Sixth Sense. Okay, alright. A lot of votes for Sixth Sense. Okay, alright. There we go. Now we're only gonna have to do the briefing whenever we're going to... yeah, we would have done so much better with Sixth Sense. I mean, knowing what's ahead of time is definitely a very powerful ability. I mean, you've seen that Sixth Sense, I've seen lots of use. Unlike Mind Shield, where in the first book it saw use only once. And again in this book it only got used once. Yeah, congratulations on surviving books. So, yeah, anyway, that's gonna be my stopping point for today. Thank you everybody for coming alongside to this stream. I hope you enjoyed it at that point. Wait, is the thing even looking right anymore? Who knows? But hey, we can fix this another day. So yeah, that is it for Lone Wolf at this point. I hope you enjoyed the Fiesta diversion. Fiesta is finally over this year, but hey, who says that our adventures as a Lone Wolf should end? At this point, we definitely should, we probably should continue this. It's just like, I'm really happy to see that people have gotten into this. I'm definitely interested in doing more of this, so yeah, we might as well just do it. Thank you, everybody. Let's see who's actually streaming right now.